Every time there's a new season, the anticipation is high. We have old drivers with old teams ready to have another chance at the championship, and new drivers with new teams ready to prove that they have what it takes to be here. But with all new changes that come with the new season, there's one thing that is always constant, and that is a trip to Daytona International Speedway as the first stop on our schedule. Hi, my name is Finney DeCuna here with Hunter Sleppy and Eric Wineland, and we're here to bring you the Area 500. Guys, I'm glad to be with you again for another season, Season 5 this time for the Area Cup Series, and these guys have put on some fantastic racing in the pack, and I cannot wait to get this next season started.
As am I, Finian. It's always a pleasure to be back here with SimTV and Area iRacing for Season 5. Hard to imagine we're 5 seasons in, Eric, to Area's existence, 2 years even in full date. But nonetheless, we've had some great racing already to begin the season with the with the Area shootout as Casey Lakatos won on fuel mileage, if that's even a thing, at Daytona. And then not to mention the exciting racing that we had in both duels just a week ago. And Eric, I'm really looking forward to this one. I don't know if you have any drivers to keep an eye on for tonight, but one thing's for certain is that Travis Beckner, as you see on the top of the board, he's going to be looking to be the first guy to win twice at Daytona.
Hunter, I have 43 guys to keep your eye on tonight, because all 43 can win this race. That's just how super speedway racing plays out. And the Area 500, man, it's a big one to try to win. There's money on the line for the winner tonight. Whoever can take that checkered flag first, I'm looking forward to it. And fuel mileage is a thing. I just talked to you pre-show here that we'll look back to Area 1 at the Area 500, or Area Season 1, excuse me, for the Area 500, and we didn't have a single caution, and there was fuel mileage and different strategies all through that Area 500. So, may come into play tonight, Finian. But Casey Lakatos, hot start. Not so great in the duel, but I think he can maybe look at trying to get something done here in the Area 500.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing, really with the duel, right, he already qualified his way, and he's going to be starting in second place on row number 1. So I don't think he was trying necessarily too hard, but, I mean, he performed very well in the preseason shootout, winning that race, and obviously getting that second place in qualifying. Very strong start for the number 50 machine. I'm even trying to find him on my timing and scoring sheet as I'm looking up and down trying to see where the cutoff is. Oh, there he is in 16th place in the number 50 machine. There he is sitting on pit lane, waiting to see what he can do when he rolls off here in just about a couple minutes' time. No qualifying, of course, because we had the duels last week, and boy, did those guys put on a show, especially in the first one.
Absolutely. Going with Mason Kane in the surprise upset there for Duel 1. I had him picked out, and man, that Balkan Films number 31, he's got a little swagger on him this season. Obviously winning the first duel of the season, and he's going to be starting inside that second row in the third spot. He's looking to make a name for himself in the Cup Series. Had some good runs last season in the Pro Series and had some starts in the Truck Series, just couldn't quite get the job done finishing-wise. He enters as an open car, as mentioned, but winning the duel, already locked himself in to the Area 500, and with just 40 seconds left in practice, Eric, gotta wonder which driver will be the last one to lead at the checkered flag. Because looking back at it, the last lap, it's been insane, except for Season 4, because that ended under caution. But every race that we've had a green flag finish for, there's been a pass on the last lap. And that's really the most important lap, Eric.
Yeah, if we go back through the super speedway races, if we exclude Atlanta, since the reconfiguration took place there, only 2 times. If you don't count the duels, if you do count the duels 4 times, in the, let's see, that's 8, 11, we'll call it 14 races that Area has done where the leader won the race. The leader of the white won the race. That 4 times in 14 tries is not a good record, unless you're in one of the championship series, the NLCS or the ALCS. That might be a decent batting average, but I expect a wild and chaotic finish, Hunter, that produces a new winner. But I'm going to keep my eye on Season 4 champion, Finian, Jake Nichols. He's hot. He's still hot.
Oh, yeah.
He will be hot again this season.
He's already going to be starting off here very hot here. But before we go to our starting grid, I want to just mention our starting grid sponsor, Roasted Gems Coffee. Race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems Coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blend flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code AREA iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. Let's go through our starting lineup. As you mentioned, we have a lot of drivers on the track getting ready to go. As you mentioned, Jake Nichols starting on pole for the Area 500 here. He qualified on pole, did well in duel number 1. Keith Lakatos qualifying for second based off of his time in the number 50. And then we go back to row 2 where everyone else is set by the duel finishes.
Indeed, Mason Kane, dual winner from Duel 1, going to start in 3rd. And Jake Matheson, the newcomer for Miller Racing, won Duel 2. He'll start 4th.
Moving on back to row number 3, Vincent Cortez in the number 32 in his Chevy Camaro is going to be starting in 5th on the inside. Matthew Bell next to him in 6th in the number 9.
Then row 4, it's Blaze McKinney in the 87, and alongside him, it's Jeremy Miller in the 30.
Moving on back to the next row, Brad Slaughter Jr. going to be running out in 9th place in the 83 machine. Skylar Shackelford running in 10th in the 88 car.
Just outside the top 10 in row 6, it's Ed Shearer Jr. in the 17, and Michael Curran in the 24 going to roll off 12th.
Moving on back to 13th, Seth Knoll in the number 1 machine. Next to him, Tyler Nichols in the number 41 is going to roll off in 14th.
Row 8, it's David Weishart starting 15th, still chasing that first Area 500 win, and Ben Pierce going to roll off in 16th in the number 65.
Moving on back to 17th, it's going to be AJ Roderick in the number 10 machine. Next to him, Alex Cummings in 18th in the number 63.
And Douglas Dubing looking to make some shockwaves this season in row 10, and alongside him, the 06 of Spencer Byrne.
Moving on back to 24th, it's going to be Garrett Grant in the number 5. Dwayne Culberson lineup in the 81 in 22nd.
Row 12, a pair of area veterans, Ed Robertson, the 64, going to start alongside the 22 of Dominic DeLeo.
Moving on back to 25th, Cedric Hunter is going to be rolling off in the number 13 machine. Next to him, Kanzo Yonishiwu in the 84, back in 26th.
And then in row 14, going to be James Shainwolf making a return to the Cup Series, and alongside him, it's Justin Sogok in the 67, the new driver for Jacob Bell Racing.
We'll go back to 29th, Cameron Hearn in the number 4 machine. Next to him is going to be Jordan D. Martin in the number 38 in 30th.
And then row 16 is going to be Justin Bondorn in the 11 car. And then alongside him is James Skyley in the 7, another driver to keep an eye on as the night rolls on.
Moving back to Jake Bell in the 33rd place position, going to be in the number 77 car. Next to him, Bryce Senizak going to be rolling off in 34th in the 09.
In row 18, it's going to be Travis Beckner, the Season 3 Area 500 winner, alongside new teammate Kwame Scott.
Moving on back to 37, it's going to be Connor Horn all the way back in the number 42 machine. Next to him, Yusuf Ghali is going to be running it in 38th in the 54, newcomer to the series.
And then row 20, it's going to be Greg Mitchell in the 2 in 39th, and then alongside him, a far ways back from the front, it's Ricky Springer in the 51, starting 40th.
Back in 41st, it's going to be Ray Slate in the number 8 machine with Connor Okrazek running in the number 14 in 42nd. And rounding out your field of 43 starters is going to be Ryan Hart in the number 3 car. And taking a look now as all the cars roll off to pit lane. A full grid of cars, gentlemen. It's a lot of drivers to pick. Who are your guys going to be your picks to win?
You know what? I'm going to pass it off to Eric first. I want to hear what he's got.
Sweet, I'm on pole tonight. Let's go. I'm gonna take the pole sitter, Jake Nichols. He's gonna start season 5 the way he ended season 4. You'll also hear me here down on pit road throughout the night, gentlemen. Jake Nichols is going to be the winner, but I'll give you this nugget. I expect the person in P2, when he takes the white flag, will win the race tonight.
All right, Hunter, what's your pick going to be?
All right, well, looking over at the statistics here, the average starting spot of the winner for the Area 500 has been 4th place, and last year it was Seth Knoll who won from the 5th starting position. But I have a good feeling that the 31 car right behind him, the 73 Jake Nichols, it's Mason Kane in the 31. He's got, like I said, a little more swagger to him. He's coming off a great weekend I feel like that the 31 Huckett Films machine is going to bring that baby home as the winner.
All right, you know what I'm going to like is the driver next to him, I think. Is he next to him? No, sorry, that's not next to him. Where is he? Travis Beckner, trying to find where he is situated. Back in 35th. I think he's going to have what it takes. It's a long race. It's 100 laps. Plenty of time to get near the front, although he's got to sort out his internet as I pick him. Might want to maybe change my pick here. Hopefully Travis's internet holds out. It's going to be a long race. 43 drivers coming out of turn 4. 100 laps on the clock, and also the start of Season 5 here for the Area Cup Series. The pace car is going to go off for the first time this season. Let's get ready to roll. Jake Nichols in control of the field, and we are green here at Daytona. Lap number 1 complete. Jake Nichols leading the field. Casey Licata is taking control of that top lane. He's got Jake Matson in the number 56 in behind him, trying to give him a little bit of a push on that outside.
A lot of spread out racing here to start things off as we ride on board with Jake Matheson, new driver for Miller Racing. Actually, 3 of the 4 drivers for Miller Racing are brand new, except for, as I mentioned before, Area 500 winner from Season 3, Travis Beckner. But we're on board with Matheson as he's looking to give a little shot to Casey Licata there in the 50. Also a newcomer from Jacob Bell Racing, so looking to start off strong with an Area 500 win.
Really sluggish start out of the 50 on the top lane there. He had to get a lot of help from the 56 of Matheson to even challenge back, and even still, they're still, even with row 3 right now, Finian, I'm surprised. The top's usually the way to go with the next-gen car here at Daytona, but they are just not organized up there. A couple guys poking their nose out, maybe 3 wide further back.
Yeah, one of the guys poking their nose out is Jeremy Miller in the number 30 machine, the purple and black car on screen. Was trying to look like he was trying to look to go through the middle, but the lane just not quite there to work with. So I think he's just going to have to kind of sit and wait for that opportunity to go again. We still got a lot of racing left. This race just starting, so I'm curious to see how aggressive drivers are going to be. We saw everyone be really aggressive in the duels because they only had 30 laps to work with, but now we've almost tripled that, more than tripled that, and they have potentially a lot of patience here. So I feel like we're going to be double file for quite a while, but you never quite know. We could see some new drivers jump to the front. I see the 87, like McKinney. He's not wasting any time. Up 4 spots already.
No, not at all. He's actually looking to challenge Jake Nichols for the lead for the first time all race on lap number 4 as they head off turn 2 and down the backstretch. That outside lane's got something going. And look right behind him, it's Brad Slaughter. He won the Area 500 in Season 2. He's looking to become the first driver to ever win the Area 500 twice, as he's all over the bumper of McKinney. But here comes Laconis down low, trying to get a run. McKinney blocks as they roll through turn 4.
I was going to say, Brad Slaughter and Blaze move together to that top side to go take control of the race, and then Blaze pulls down when he sees Casey make the move. So they're going to give Brad the lead around the top as he's going to get a big push here from Jake Matheson. Brad Slaughter is like the Pied Piper in the Area Cup Series, guys. I mean, this man just always finds the front in these super speedway races, and here he is leading the top lane at Daytona.
Getting himself to the front in that beautiful number 83 machine. See if he can stay there or how long he's going to choose to stay here. Might decide later on to drop to the back. See many drivers, again, because there's so much time to wait around, a lot of drivers just trying to ride it in the back, just kind of wait out the laps and try to avoid the big one. That's always going to be the big thing. You know, you always talk about when you go to these super speedway races, it's never about when, really, if there's going to be a big one. It's a matter of when. When is it going to occur? Especially with all 43 drivers still kicking here. All 43 of them within 3 seconds of each other.
Yeah, they're all side by side too. No 3 wide just yet. No one down the sucker hole as you see the field shuffling their way through turn 1. And interesting note about Brad Slaughter. You mentioned, Eric, that he somehow finds his way in the front of these super speedway races. Well, who do you think his favorite driver was? Dale Jr., who the master of the super speedway racing for his time in the Cup Series, and he's looking to replicate that here by starting the season off with an Area 500 win. However, Blaze McKinney with a strong push to the inside with Casey Lacadas behind, as they once again roll their way through 3 and 4.
I'm surprised no lane has gotten dominant here, Hunter. As a driver, I would probably be in the back like Finian was talking about. I would want to be a little more conservative. We got 3 wide here through the trial. Well, someone's stuck in the middle. That's Spencer Burns, newcomer to area. Yeah, I would want to be a little less aggressive, maybe try to ride it out, Finian. I'm surprised no lane has gotten dominance. There's some shuffling further back, and the outside lane is starting to dissolve.
Yeah, looks like they're starting to get disconnected. That middle lane is forming, and it is starting to go a little bit through the sucker hole at Spencer Burns, as we mentioned. Seth Knoll, also the number 1, trying to see if he can make it work. I'm going to say they probably need a 3rd car to join in to really start to get this lane moving, but they're trying to make some moves, and it looks like Jeremy Miller is thinking about going down. Nope, decides against it last minute. Whoa, and an aggressive move by Masson to put his car to the inside lane between Mason Kane and Jake Nichols. And there goes Miller now, going to ditch the outside lane, which has effectively died off. And here he comes with a charge forward.
Yeah, Jeremy Miller looking to get Season 5 going in a big way. He had an average finish last year of 22nd, as that is the 88 of Skylar Shackelford into the outside wall, slowing that outside line a little bit, as we do see more 3-wide action. But Jeremy Miller, average finish of 22nd. He's looking to kick things off with a bang and possibly even get a win here as they continue to duke it out. Casey Lacadas in the lead, and right behind Jeremy Miller, mentioned the 06 of Spencer Burns, the newcomer for David Weishart Racing, so he's looking to start things off too by putting the whole field on notice.
You noticed a black and blue car just fall out of the picture? Yeah, that was the 9 of Matthew Bell. He said absolutely not. He did not like what was going on in front of him. He bailed from the pack as someone just is starting to blink out. That's Vincent Cortez in the 32. Getting the guys a little bit scared on the radio as well. They're worried about the blinking. So Matthew Bell said, nope, I'm out. He dropped all the way to the back. And a much safer spot in the outside line. Finian has regained its strength. Another good 6, 7, 8 car strong. And then Brad Slaughter Jr. says he wants to go back to the front.
He's going to want to go back to the front, but not a whole lot of places to go at the moment. It's starting to really get more chaotic. We're really starting to see a solid 3rd lane form in the middle. It's being led currently by Douglas Newbiging. Not a new name to this series, as he's trying to lead a charge and start off his season strong. And he's got the 24 of Michael Curran in behind him.
Newbiging with 2 top 5s and 5 top 10s last year, looking to continue to roll in the right direction in Season 5 as we ride on board with what I would consider the eye of the storm, the 24 of Michael Curran, as he's actually looking to get things going. He won in Season 3, but couldn't get the job done in Season 4, although he was very consistent with an average finish of 11th. And there's the sign there that you see he'll have for us all season long as he looks to give Newbiging a shove heading into turn 3.
I can't read it. I'm not seeing it very clearly.
It says, solve the mystery. It's not, it's a, quote, parentheses, not foam fantasy football trophy. Didn't mean to leave Hunter hanging on my thumbs up. I don't have broadcast audio in my headset. Exclamation.
Referencing the duels in our broadcast for the duels last week, go check it out on YouTube at SimTV or Area iRacing, your choice. So it's a foam football. I expected it to be a fantasy football trophy. I'm a little sad that it wasn't. Maybe he'll turn it into a fantasy football trophy this upcoming season. Week 7 is getting ready to conclude, Hunter, if I recall correctly.
Indeed, and there's actually football going on right now, but we do thank everyone tuning in to the Area 500. 11 laps complete, about to be starting lap number 12. As you saw there in turn 1 and 2, Seth Knoll, the newcomer for Solar Flare Racing, just shot to the inside looking to take the lead away from Jeremy Miller. However, that's not the case. They're stacking up on the inside, and Miller's going to lead the lap with Shackelford in tow. Teammates running 1, 2, but here comes Knoll on the bottom.
Yeah, great running for that team, with Jeremy Miller and Shackelford up near the top. Saw them struggle in last season's Area 500, but looking very strong early on so far. Connor Horn, the one driver from that organization that managed to break in the playoffs, he's playing it nice and calm. He's on the complete opposite end of the field. back here in 38th, and there's quite a few other big names near the back here, though they're actually starting to move their way forward. Ricky Springer, he started back in 40th. He's already up to 33rd. And seen a few more names go forward. Ray Slate started 41st up to 29th, so they're starting to shuffle their way on forward. They don't want to be too far out of the action.
Bear in mind, folks, if you're tuning in for your first Area 500, first of all, welcome. The Area Cup Series Hunter adds points more than just what the normal Cup Series does. But yeah, Brad Slaughter just got left right there on the bottom by the 99 of Kwame Scott going to the lead. Bonus points awarded for 0 incidents in the race, a lap led, and most laps led here in Area, in addition to pole, I believe, still as well. So Jake Nichols is already +1 point, leading the standings.
Why wouldn't he be? As there's a massive bump there. Cosmo Yoshiwu to the bumper of Kwame Scott, the newcomer for Miller Racing, trying to set the tone early in the Celsius number 99. But as mentioned, that bottom is rolling, and they kind of left Brad Slaughter out there to dry, and it's unreal because you don't see that. Typically, the middle is a sucker hole. That last time by, the bottom was a sucker hole. Now Slaughter finds himself falling back outside the top 15, looking to regroup and refocus heading into turn 1.
Yeah, really got left out of the dry, drop back and almost to P20 now as the field works their way through turns 1 and 2. Single file in the bottom lane. Kwame Scott leading the charge. Cosmin Yonishiwa, Yusuf Ghali, Jeremy Miller, Ryan Hart. How about Ryan Hart? He started dead last, guys. He's quietly worked his way up 38 positions to P5.
Well, he's driving like the Intimidator himself. He was also good at the super speedways, but couldn't quite get the job done, as famously took him 20 years to win the Daytona 500. Nonetheless, Ryan Hart's looking to make his way as he blinks a little bit. He's worked his way inside the top 10, and the outside lane's starting to get a massive push now, as it's being led by Seth Knoll in the 1.
Big charge for the number 1 here, trying to work his way on through. He's got Douglas Newman, Michael Curran. We saw them on the middle lane not too long ago. That middle lane has died out. You can see only 2 lanes left, and now they're on the outside, aggressively pushing that one. Look at the huge amount of charge that that outside lane's got. 3 car lengths up on the bottom lane, almost 4, as Shackelford tries to get on through. There's Newman diving down on the bottom, going to leave the one out to dry, and Michael Curran's going to try to push him, see if he can get forward to the lead.
Looking to get that bonus point as they swerve and squirm coming off of turn 4. It's still going to be Seth Knoll leading it at the line, but a massive bump here. So you see the 88 of Shackelford give that bump to the 1. Oh, and it looked like it was going to send him spinning, but the 1 moves down low to block the run from Newbigging, which now leaves the outside lane led by 88 of Shackelford. Looking to kick things off, going in the right direction for 609 Motorsports as they head down the back.
Down the back straightaway, 609 Motorsport, man, that team's working really strong early on. Skylar Shackelford up there. Actually, he's got disconnected from Jeremy Miller, so he's up there by his lonesome. He's got the 7 of James Scally, a name that's definitely not unfamiliar to us here in area. He's going to go to the top side, leave Shackelford out to dry as he starts to work now with Jacob Bell in behind him.
All 7s in the first 2 spots, as it looks like Scioli's going to lead this lap. Shackelford is going to try and stay in touch with him. But Jacob Bell, he was so close to winning not just the Area 500 last season, but also at Talladega, with cautions coming out at probably the worst time for him, and he's looking to rewrite the history books and become the 5th different winner for the Area 500. As mentioned, actually not mentioned, but he has, there's the bump from Spencer Burns in the 06. He spent a good bit of the last couple of weeks in Las Vegas for NASCAR and for work reasons. I'm pretty sure he's tired of Las Vegas, which, by the way, that is our next race for week 2, and I don't think he's going to travel in person for that, but traveling in person at the bottom, it's Spencer Burns in the 06 looking to lead this lap. What a massive run coming off turn 4. It's going to be close at the line, Finian.
Yeah, Spencer Burns has been looking really strong. He started back in 20th, and ever since then he's moved his way up to the top. I haven't seen him really drop out of the top 5, top 10. If he has, it hasn't been for too long. He's kept that 06 machine up near the top. And one of the only Toyotas in the top 10 was he gets a little bit of a bump. You can see Shackelford really loose on the bottom, and then he gets close to that left rear. That always makes me nervous.
As they roll down the back into turn 3, the 3rd car on the outside lane. Haven't talked about too much as Jacob Bell is going to the lead with that guy that I was just about to talk about, James Sheenwolf. Haven't heard too much about him over the last season in area. had to leave for some time, but nonetheless, he's back, and he was actually one of the open cars in the Area 500 qualifying session just a week ago. Started all the way back in 27th, worked his way up to second, and right behind him, as mentioned, the newcomer for Jacob Bell Racing, that's Justana Sogak in the 67 car. He won last season's opener for not only the Truck Series, but the Pro Series as well. And Eric, he's starting to fall back on that outside line, but here comes Skyoli looking to pick him up.
Hey, sir, you get your first pit report of the night, gentlemen. Down here on pit lane, I want to give you guys a couple updates here. Pit window, we haven't talked about it yet. About 40 laps is typically what it is if nobody is saving. But if you save some fuel, you can make this pretty close. I don't know quite if you're going to make a one-stop happen. That's saving 10 laps of fuel, which is a little hard to do on a super speedway. Plus, you have to do that in both stints, right? You got to do it on the first half of the race and the second half of the race. So I don't expect these guys to save too much fuel, but they open up their pit window a little bit. Expect 2 stops tonight. Probably fuel only. At least one of the stops, if not both stops, depends on what the guys think about how long they sit on pit road. I also got some radio for you guys. Yusuf Ghali, we saw him go up there and take the lead as a rookie here in the Area Cup Series. Listen in to what he had to say about that move.
38th to first and 14.
There you go, Yusuf. Look at you. See, I just can't do that. It's not that hard, at least in my opinion. I feel like this car allows you to do any kind of move that you want. So,
for big runs.
So Yusuf and his 609 Motorsports teammates, Connor Horn, Jeremy Miller, Skylar Shackelford, and spotter Jackson Glenn Austin, hanging out and helped Yusuf get to the front, got the bonus point. He bailed back out, back into the middle of the pack again, running P11 right there on your screen, battling away on the bottom line.
You can see right there, he's at only 1 lap, but again, for talking about that bonus point, you only need 1 lap to at least get it for just leading a lap. If you want most laps led, it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath to try to get near the front as you see drivers fight tooth and nail to get this lead, and they're going to continue with that as you see Spencer Burns jump to the top side to collect Skylar Shackelford. Trying to see if he can work around James Shamewolf and Jacob Bell for the lead of this race.
Jacob Bell holding strong on the bottom, looking to lead a lap, but so is the 06 of Spencer Burns, and coming to the stripe as we are a fifth of the way through the Area 500. The 06 of Burns will lead that lap, but Jacob Bell still holding his own on the bottom with Shane Wolf pushing, but on the outside, leading the way, it's the 06 of Burns with Shackelford behind, and then the 67 is Justana Sogak. And haven't talked too much yet about the 7 of Skyoli as they work their way down the backstretch.
Hey guys, we had some takers that last lap. David Weishart, Brad Slaughter Jr., Garrett Grant, and Bryce Senesac, that is David Weishart Racing, choosing to come down pit lane, get an early stop in on lap 20. They're going to run this in reverse then. So if we do 40 laps each stint, that puts them to lap 80. So they're going to run it in reverse, 20, and then up to 60, and then 60 to the end. They're separated right now, Finian. David and Brad are together here as we see David. There's the weekly vape shot on the broadcast there, ladies and gentlemen. He's been doing that since season 1. David Weishart himself calmed down for this stint of the race, but he has no help. Brad Slaughter's his only help. The other pair, Garrett Grant and Bryce Senesac, they did not get through pit lane very well and are pretty far back away from these two. So I don't know that this strategy is going to work, Finian, but nonetheless, at least someone taking a gamble to try something different. Garrett and Bryce are very much in danger because they have, well, I guess Bryce has picked up the draft, but he's 1 lap down. Garrett's going to go a lap down, and that's going to be tough because only one driver can get the lucky dog.
Yeah, I was going to say, you really need, for this to work, you need at least 3, 4, ideally maybe a little bit more cars to work with in a group. They're just going to lose a ton of speed, and unfortunately, mistakes down on pit lane is going to cost them, with them trying to get off of pit lane. So disconnected that team. So they're just going to be kind of hoping for a caution as the pack caught up to Garrett Grant. Is going to be sticking to the high side, and we're going to be only 2 wide, so there shouldn't be an issue as everyone snakes their way on by the number 5 machine. You can see off in the distance to 2 cars. That is David Weishart and Brad Slaughter Jr. So we'll see if this works out in the end. It may not, depending on if a caution comes out. Later on, we could see things change up, and that's really where we're going to see that pit saving, the fuel saving coming to handy, is if these guys are going to have to save any fuel to make it to the end. Cameron Hearn making a move. A lot of driving. In fact, the entire top 6 at the moment have all started outside of 25th position.
There was a big moment there in turn 3, the last lap with the lapper of Bryce Senesac and Some guys ended up on the apron. That kind of split up the back part of the field. You see them all single file back there at the back of our picture. Meanwhile, up front, Spencer Burns, James Scioli still leading the way. Yeah, it was not a good time on the back stretch. I don't know if they were trying to merge Bryce into the line or what quite happened there, but what a scary moment. To follow up on that reason that Bryce and Garrett are not with David and Brad, Garrett's sequence was actually really good. He had the same stop time as David Weishart, who was first off pit lane. It was a second and a half slower lane traversal, which is not enough, but the big difference, Garrett was track position way worse than the front two, which is why he ended up separated. Bryce did not get down pit lane very well. He was 7 seconds longer than his teammates there, and he was a full second and a half longer stopped in his stall. So the 09 and the 5 did not execute the way they needed to stay with their teammates, and that's why they are toward the tail of the lead lap and actually now a lap down.
Yeah, that's really the issue when you try to, play a different strategy compared to everyone else. It's a big risk for potentially a big reward, but if things go wrong, it could be a big penalty as well. So, again, that team on the back leg, well, you still have a lot of racing to go, and pit stops underway. A bunch of drivers peeling to pit lane, trying to find where on earth they are on the ticker.
So this is 28th on down to 39th, coming down pit road. Actually, excuse me, 30th down to 39th down pit road. So I've got Okresic, Hartz, Bell. That is Matthew Bell.
Oh, he just messed up.
Yeah, Matthew Bell slid through right in front of me, guys. Not a good time there. I got tires here for a couple drivers. Looks like two. See lefts and rights, different choices there. And down and away is most of the pack. We're going to watch the 9 of Matthew Bell, who is the one that slid
a little
through
bit slow
slow
off. I think he's going to miss the pack. Jake Matheson and Matthew Bell. I mean, on the bright side, these three are going to be in a little bit of a group, so they may have a chance to catch back up to everyone else, but ideally not what they would have liked.
Yeah, Jake Matheson also had a big moment in his pit where he overslid, and that's going to hurt him a lot as he shuffle back up towards the front, where Spencer Burns still leading away with James Scioli in the 7. And then Bondurant is 3rd. Jordan Martin 4th. Haven't talked about him too often. I was just going to mention Ricky Springer as he jumps down low. Was running 5th. Now it's the 30 of Miller, who also drops down to the bottom. Yeah, Ricky Springer started back in 40th, fought and clawed his way towards the top 5. He's inside the top 10, but that bright red car you see on his outside, that's Garrett Grant. He would be the first car one lap down, and if a caution does come out, he'd be the free passes. Jeremy Miller comes down pit road with a few others.
Yep, more pit stops underway. A lot of in fact, all 4 of the 609 Motorsports machines. There's 54 and the 42 in on one tail end of the field, and their teammates going to be pitting near the front. So those two in good. We'll see for Jeremy Miller and the 88 of Shackelford. Looks like a nice collective fit. I think you can tell that these guys definitely practice their pit lane entry, and especially when it comes down to green flag pit stops, it's so important to nail that, hit that right. Otherwise, you have what happened with David Weishart racing occur, and some mistakes are made, and you may lose the pack, but they are off and away.
Down and away cleanly is 609 Motorsports. That was well executed right there, guys. I don't know if we have it in our picture, but those 4 are coming off pit road together, and they all had the same stop time. That's what David Weishart Racing wanted to have happen, but didn't have happen. The only problem is you got to watch the lap time, because if these guys cannot get up to speed and maintain the gap in front of the pack, they get folded in, and it's just going to make the pack faster. And they'll end up losing time here as they're getting caught by some of the guys that have already decided to stop. As well as, yeah, that was Ryan Hartz. That was, excuse me, that is Solid Rock Performance. There we go. That have also played Connor Okresic, Ryan Hartz, and others.
So Kwame Scott leading the charge of drivers that have pitted in 26, so everyone 25th and up. Still yet to make their first scheduled stop of the night, and still early on pit stops, but drivers trying to get that stop out early. And it's caused a little bit of a slow chain reaction. You've seen drivers kind of trickle down onto pit lane, not pitting in humongous groups like we typically see.
If you get the opportunity to check in on Ricky Springer's camera, but the driver in VR, I just noticed he was looking at his black box hunter. He was getting himself set for a potential pit stop.
could be interesting here as we're in sim now with Ricky Springer and running back inside the, well, he was inside the top 10. We might be in sim with him here as he's looking to make a pit stop. But up front, it's still Garrett Grant leading the way in that pack. Not a lap down, but it's Spencer Burns in the 06. He's continuing to drive in the lead.
Ricky Springer, I think, might be queuing up. See a lot of drivers on that bottom lane, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we see some more pit stops coming next time by. We'll have to keep an eye. Spencer Burns leading out in front. You can see in the front of this pack, though, it's Garrett Grant, who's barely on the lead lap and trying to just hang on to this and slow and minimize the damage. They can stay in this thing.
There's a few drivers there still hanging up on that outside line. Wade Culberson in 81 for Solar
I heard someone, sorry to cut you off, I heard some people yelling, pitting in, and here they come on down. Next group of drivers coming down. Struggling to hit these guys. There we go. Michael Curran, I see. The number 11, Cameron Hearn. Ricky Springer.
Someone almost spun it there at the end of pit road. So it was Justin Bondurant leading the charge down pit lane here. Michael Curhan in as well. Someone's on and off there late.
Cameron Hearn? What happened there?
No, he didn't have his black box set. He did not stop at his box. Black box must not have been set for Cameron Hearn. I'm not sure what was up with that. That is a disaster for the 4 car.
He comes in and says, nope, I need to go back out.
I can't tell. Maybe he missed his box?
I don't know. One of the two. But
he gridded 29th, Finian. Oh, we have smoke off the end of pit road. I think we may have an incident. 17?
Number 17, Edward Scher, in the Ford Mustang. Take a look and see.
That was pit entry. Locking up on pit entry. My bad.
Take a look and see as they come on down. Big dive, head full of steam, and actually, I don't think he did lock it up.
One of them, I saw smoke at the end of pit road from here on the exit of pit road. I saw someone looked like they were smoking it in as the 13-17. So that is Cedric Hunter, Edward Scher, James Scioli, and Douglas Newbigin all coming together. That's Lucky Duck Motorsports, Hunter, coming down together, getting back out there. So a lot of different pit strategies as well, third of the way through the race.
Indeed, and that just confuses a lot of people in the race as well because they don't know who's on what and what to do from here. But nonetheless, it's now Spencer Burns leading, Jordan Martin in second. Garrett Grant continues to lead and is kind of soaking this all in because he doesn't have to worry about being the free pass or anything like that as they're actually working their way through a lap car now. But question is, when are these guys going to pit? And yeah, Holy is right because we're 3 wide in about the 30s.
Yeah, these drivers are way down the order. I mean, obviously these are the drivers that pit, but they are fighting essentially for the lead when it cycles out. This is all 13th on back. Connor Kresick leading the charge on the outside lane. And look who's in behind, David Weisar and Brad Slaughter. So they were lucky enough to able to catch the pack before going a lap down. So it all kind of worked out in the end, I guess.
I think they drugged some. I think their early pit stop, Finian, is what helped drag a lot of others onto pit road, and they are 38 seconds behind the lead and closing. They're running faster than the lead. I got a couple more on pit road here. Casey Lakatos, the outside pole sitter, is here on pit road, as well as Blaze McKinney, James Shanewolf, Spencer Burns, Jordan Martin, Anna Sogak, Jacob Bell, Roderick Shanewolf, Robertson, all on pit road. Down and away clean for these guys. They're going to rejoin. It looks like they may be behind the pack. This is going to be tough, Finian.
Yeah, they're trying to get up to speed as much as possible here. So Spencer Burns, Blaze McKinney leading the charge. I think they're going to be a little bit behind leaders. I think it's because that lead group getting more separated, not able to carry as much speed. There's the main pack roaring their way out of turn 2. I think these guys will just carry in front of the field. This can get dangerous here. Here they come. 3 wide action, and they're not quite able to get up in speed, so they'll drop to the end of this pack, but they will be in it.
There's a little bit of checkup on that outside lane, almost as if they wanted to pinch those on the bottom and use that as a pick as to where they want to go and what they want to do, as still got some cars down pit road and looking to make a run off. There's Jake Nichols and Dwayne Culberson, Solar Flare guys coming through. And then coming through on the tri-oval, it is the 13.
Yep, Cedric Hunter in the lead, with Edward Scherer, James Fialli, Douglas Newing, Ryan Hart in behind him. And there they are passing Jake Nichols and the rest of Solar Flare Racing, coming off the last stragglers to come off of pit lane. And so we have our first round of green flag pit stops complete throughout the field, with everyone on very different strategies as far as that's concerned.
There's a bit too many different strategies going on to keep up with all at once.
So there were a couple stops there that were sub 12 seconds, guys, which tells me they only took 2 and some fuel. But there were a couple guys that were over 14 seconds, including the Solar Flare Racing boys of Culberson, Nichols, Noel, and others there. I should say both Nichols boys. I wanted to also touch on lap 20, exit of turn 4. Ed Robertson and AJ Roderick lost the draft, and that's why they are so far behind in the 10 and the 64. David Weishart Racing was on the tail end of the lead, or at least half of David Weishart Racing was on the tail end of the lead back there. And when they pit, they left the 10 and the 64 without the draft. And back those 2 drivers fell. And so they are struggling right now off the pack, off the lead pace. You see Matthew Bell in there with them. It's not a good time for the 64. I believe that's Matthew Bell. Maybe that might be
Ed
Springer,
Robertson.
the 50. Right. Well, Ricky Springer on the tail end there with Ed Robertson and AJ Roderick. Not a good pit sequence for those guys. I'll follow up and see what happened to Ricky Springer on pit road.
Field working their way out of turn 2, and notably the pack a lot smaller than we've seen it. With, again, people pitting at different times, people making mistakes as well. The main pack only about 20 cars strong here. Mason Kane and Spencer Burns at the tail end of it. Then as you look further back in 21st, Dom DeLeo in the 22 machine leading the second pack. And there, I'm not sure this is necessarily them trying to purposely maintain some distance, or them just trying to see what they can do to catch back up.
I think it's trying to see what they can do to catch up. These guys get separated from just the slightest of margins on pit exit, and kind of shows whenever they're fully up to speed. But there you see the in-studio setup for Dominic DeLeo, and don't think we talked about it, but on the right rear of the car, I don't think we have a good look at it, but it's the initials of Dom DeLeo's grandmother, who passed away earlier in the month. So unfortunate, there's a good look at it from teammate Greg Mitchell. Racing with heavy hearts here as he's looking to kick things off with a bang for Fazekas Motorsports, as they're running just outside the top 20.
Yeah, hopefully for him he can have a solid finish to start the season off right. Woo, a big bobble and a hit from Michael Curran to the 11 Justin Bondurant in the 11 car, and 23rd in line. This is the next main pack. After this, let's see who's in the back here. It is Jordan Martin in the 38 machine. Kalen in 34th. So 2 main packs consisting of most of our field and a couple stragglers further beyond that. Ben Pierce, Alex Cummings, Garrett Grant, Bryce Senezek, and James Shane Wolf all in this next pack, and then it rounds out with Shane Wolf, Ed Robertson, and Ricky Springer further on back. So that's kind of the status of all of our drivers at the moment. Whoa, there's a car up almost in the wall. Is that Travis Beckner? Indeed it is.
We still ride in sim with Dom DeLeo here as we see Travis Beckner nearly scrape the wall. He's getting up there a little far there, Finian. Some updates from pit road. There was an incident for Ricky Springer and Dom DeLeo. I'm not sure if we caught that. So remember that smoke I saw at pit exit as well? Yeah, these two got together, the 22 and the 51, lap 33. As they were coming off pit exit, there was an incident. Ricky tried to take off the end of pit lane, and Dom was to his inside, and really did not communicate very well. Ricky ended up spun around at the pit exit, and that is why he is back with AJ Roderick and Ed Robertson. These guys are 30 seconds off the lead, gentlemen. Not a good time for the 51, 10, and 64.
No, definitely not a good time for him. He just this entire group is just kind of hoping, praying for a caution to come out and to kind of reset everything so they have a chance at getting the win. Because as things are on, it's not looking too good. Although the field, I would say, is looking a bit quiet at the moment. I think we can expect these guys to start to shake things up Where you're starting to see them try. Whoa, big move there. I think that was Matson in the 56 trying to go to the inside lane. Skylar Shackelford jumping to the top lane. Kwame Scott was leading a charge as Cosmin Yonishiu haven't seen much of the 84. He's been pretty quiet for most of this race. He's starting to make his way to the front.
The rest of the field is trying to catch up to the Lucky Ducks, waddling away. They hold the top 4 spots, and there's just nothing the outside line can do at the time to get this run going, as Cedric Hunter, Ed Shearer Jr., James Skiley, Douglas Dubig, and Lucky Ducks looking to get things rolling as they hold the first 4 spots. And you got to go back to the 3 of Ryan Hartz holding the 5th position as the outside lane still trying to get things rolling down the backstretch.
Whoa, whoa! Some cars on the wall, some cars door bagging in behind. The 32 is sideways. Vincent Cortez, I think he saved it.
Oh, car spinning in the grass. It's the 32 Vincent Cortez. Massive moment there as the field was careening towards the inside of the racetrack. Take a look at it with a SimRap Market replay.
It started with the 88 trying to block the 99, then everyone was trying to save it. And how about the 32? Oh, he caught a bit. I think that was the one of Seth Knoll that got into the back of him.
Boy, Vincent
or Jacob
Cortez
Bell, sorry. I think it was Jacob
ride.
Or Matthew Bell, sorry, that got into the back of him. Take another look at that. I want to see where it started with the 99 up near the front. This is coming off of turn 2. Where is the 99 at? I'll start with the 84. So there's Kyle Shack for getting the wall, and then in behind them, everyone got disoriented and out of line. But luckily, they're able to save it. I'm right on board with the 32 of Cortez and finally see what he saw from that. There's the 99, there's the hip check, and then he gets in the 84, and big wiggle and bobble as everyone somehow makes it around. Got a bunch of guys going through the grass. And then, of course, Matthew Bell also getting a piece of that as well.
Calamity avoided as they're near the halfway point of the Area 500, but definitely has shuffled a lot of the drivers out of the top 15 or so, as might have separated the pack a good bit too. As the 13 now losing the lead, Travis Beckner leads the way, and there's the rest of the guys that are trying to get things going in the right direction as we head back to pit road with Eric Weiland for an update.
I'll spare you the noises from pit road, gentlemen. I got radio from Lucky Duck Motorsports as they were leading the pack there. You know, every time I join a team channel, it never fails, Hunter. You know this. Something happens. Listen in to Lucky Duck Motorsports.
I'm basically just getting cruise control. I'm used to doing this shit for a day.
They're not doing much now, the outside. They're falling back. Yeah, they're dropping back. They're trying to take a 3.
Oh, they're wrecking. Trying
to wreck each other. They're still, I don't know what they're doing. It's a circus back there. All right, we're good. Just keep going.
So right as everything kicked off, gentlemen, Lucky Duck Motorsports was watching and calling it out. They figured they could break away. Nonetheless, they've gotten swallowed up. Now they are 3rd through 6th there on the inside line of this primary pack up front.
Speaking of which, don't want to say anything too soon, but my pick, Travis Beckner up in 2nd. Almost had a chance at the lead, couldn't execute. There's Skylar Shackelford trying to defend Cosby. Yonishiu, who makes a dive from the outside line to the inside, as he'll try to lead a lap, and I believe he got it. Taking a look, oh, no, Skylar Shackelford. Look at Cosby Yonishiu, he did not lead that lap.
If he holds through, he will be able to lead this lap as he was the pole sitter for last season's Area 500 and looking to just come in and win. As the 28 of Travis Beckner, they're shuffling all over the place. Shackelford looking to the inside, going to try and take that lead, and there's a block from Yonishiu. 3 wide from McKinney in turn 3.
Try to shoot the sucker hole, and he'll now become part of the sucker hole as he gets shuffled out to the back of this small pack.
Welcome to the Area Cup Series, Blaze McKinney. None of your friends wanted to find you there. That eliminates every single guy around him to not help at the end of the race, should he make it that far. Say all in the driver's memory bank. I mean, you remember every little thing that happens out here in the race, especially the guys that get you bad, like Skylar Shackelford potentially throwing some bad blocks as he gets moved down to the bottom. I think, he looks like he got turned down to the bottom. He's going to fall to the back of this main pack. Lucky Duck up the middle.
Yeah, it's just going to blend
in the wall.
Oh yeah, that is, who is that up in the wall? Number 14, Connor Krezek gets a little piece of the wall, trying to avoid the checkup caused by Shackelford. I want to take a look back at what happened with Shackelford in that move. He's been in the middle of quite some drama here in the last couple of laps. Is also off of turn 2 as well. Oh, this is off to the nose of the 13 that pushed him down below, and that caused a big checkup on that inside lane.
Yeah, they just didn't. He kept moving up towards the middle lane as if there was someone below him, but that was not the case. Nonetheless, Cosmo Shoe still leads the way on board with his bumper. Here's a massive push from the 28 of Beckner. The outside lane is starting to roll things along as they head into turn 3, and that inside lane still trying to close the gap, but how fast the outside lane is going to be tough.
We are not making this halfway mark very interesting, Hunter, as we are going to complete lap 50 right here. Cosmo Yonoshiwu can lead the way. Finian, I'm just keeping an eye on the lap times. 4/10 faster was that second group led by Connor Horn and Yusuf Ghali. Then the lead pack, let's see what they are this time around the line. 46 4s for the second pack, 46 5s for the lead pack. So in another 10th barrier, 5.5 seconds back. Finian, got a lot of work ahead of them to make it up.
Yeah, and they're trying their best. They're all single file. So ideally that should give them the best chance to go forward, especially with that leading pack just kind of slowing down one another. As you look on with Connor Horn here, riding off into turn 3. They're trying to be single file, trying to just see if he can catch up to the leaders. And I think really, the rest of this race is going to be spent just trying to catch back up. And they're not too far behind, only 6 seconds, and they are starting to make some progress. So that's good news for the second group. But remember, we got that second round of pit stops, and that's going to be coming up sooner rather than later.
Indeed, as we're 51 laps complete of the scheduled 100 for the premiere of Season 5, the Area 500 for the Area Cup Series. And we want to give a quick shout out to Simrat Market. I haven't seen too many cautions, but I have seen a good bit of replays tonight. So race fans, head over to simratmarket.com for custom buy racing paint scheme templates that are simple to use, so it keeps you more focused on the racetrack.
Yeah, Simrat Market hasn't really gotten a whole lot of action other than a few minor incidents here and there. Still haven't seen that big one, guys. Do we think now that the pack's broken up so much, do you think we're still in for that big one? Is it still due, or do you think we've kind of passed that chance?
I think we're due for a minor caution to occur, and then that could create into the big one, as the 56 of Matheson continues to lead the way with teammate Travis Beckner behind, and on that outside, Ryan Hartz and Jeremy Miller trying to get things going. They work their way down the backstretch. Eric, it's going to be close heading into turn 3.
Hey, radio from 609 Motorsports, guys. Listen in to Yusef and Connor talking, trying to catch the pack.
It's like if we had someone else who could do what we did, like even 1 or 2 others, we could gain even more. But
If I could get on the track, I'd help, but I kind of can't.
yeah, Greg's not capable. Dom's not capable. I don't even know who else is in this pack besides
on the apron up here.
be able to do it.
So that was the voice of Jackson, who is spotting for one of the 609 Motorsports drivers who can't get on the track to help them out. But they're talking about the 2-car tango. You saw that they just broke away from the pack again right there. It's because Yusef cooled his engine temp enough to be able to push Connor forward again. He said he's working hard to manage his engine temp right now, and even when he's managing it, they're still gaining a 10th a lap, he believes. So they're just going to continue these big pushes to try to catch this lead pack, as it's getting dicey as they pass a lapper here, Finian.
Yeah, it's Matthew Bell going 1 lap down, and he'll actually get passed by Cameron Hearn and put back in 43rd. That's the other thing, too. All 43 drivers still running, now 2 a lap down, Cameron Hearn and Matthew Bell. And actually, Matthew Bell
damage, right?
What's that?
Matthew Bell picked up damage from that incident on the
Yeah,
backstretch.
I was just about to mention that he does have some damage. It's kind of hard to see from this angle. It's more on the right front of that car. But yeah, it's not helping him a whole lot, and I think he's just kind of waiting by. Oh yeah, it's actually rendered even more. And I think before when I looked at it, either the angle or with the sun reflection didn't look too bad, but there you can see a decent amount of damage to the right front of that machine. So he's just kind of hoping he can have some sort of caution come down a pit road, get that fixed and repaired, because he's at a huge disadvantage as we look back up to the field. Travis Beckner in the lead and control of this field. As we got Kazu Nishiwa, Jeremy Miller in behind. Miller, of course, with not really many of his teammates, other than Skylar Shackelford, who's at the tail end of this pack. So the 2 teammates in that second trailing group as Beckner leads a lap. And let's take a look to actually check in on how many laps a lot of these drivers have led near the front. You can see that almost all the drivers in the top 10 have led at least one lap, with the exception of Rafe Slate, Mason Keynes, and pretty much that's it as they slowly change positions. But actually quite a few drivers on through have led about a lap or so. Everyone kind of getting up there to get that bonus point.
Yeah, Spencer Burns at the most so far with 12. Going to be interesting seeing who gets that bonus point. But as mentioned, really doesn't matter about how many laps you lead except the last one. And average laps led of the winner of the Area 500 has been 2, and that's all that Seth Knoll led a season ago, as Travis Beckner also led 2 laps in Season 3 en route to his first Area 500 win, trying to make it a second, but here comes Blaze McKinney on the inside, looking for the lead, heading into Turn 1.
Going to make a dive to the inside and make a move. Trying to see he's going to have Spencer Burns in behind in the 0-6 with Beckner up near the top. Azunio Shiwu also on the top lane, and there is McKinney now going to the top lane, and Beckner doing the reverse card, going to go to the inside now to get on by to keep that lead going.
Spencer Burns looking to give a push down into Turn 3. Blaze McKinney trying to get some more momentum on that outside, but they're kind of separated for the time being. Rafe Slade in the 8. Haven't talked too much about him yet. He's making his presence felt in the podium paying position, with Jake Matheson behind pushing through, and Blaze McKinney trying to get a bump here from the 84 of Cosman Yonishiwu as the second pack you see still slowly trying to creep up on the main pack, but
we're getting closer, Hunter. With all this squabbling up here for the lead, that gap has gone from 5.5 down to 4 3/4 in the last 2 laps. So that second pack is closing. Connor Horn was on the radio once again. He was pissed because they were not figuring out how to push. They finally did. Greg Mitchell's attached to Yusuf Ghali. You're going to see some big lap times here from the second pack.
That was close, Vinny.
Yeah, I think we both saw the same thing. Spencer Burns moved to the right of Travis Beckner, almost hooked him to the outside wall. It looks like he almost wants to leave Beckner and shoot the middle, but I don't really know if he's got anyone to really help him or assist him at the moment, but he's starting to look aggressive here. We'll have to see, but now Rafe Slate in the 0-8, not the 0-8, sorry, in just the 8 car. We were just talking about him not leading a lap. I think he decided he wanted to change that. We'll go up and get 1 lap led with the help of Blaze McKinney behind him.
Beckner's still looking to take over as the race leader with the 06 of Spencer Burns right behind him as they roll their way down the backstretch. You can see that second pack slowly starting to creep in, as Eric mentioned. The side-by-side racing and the aggressiveness does not help the pace for the first pack, as there is the 8 of Slate again making his way down to the bottom as McKinney trying to hold his own on the outside.
Trying to see if he can make it work. I think I just saw Cedric Hunter up there trying to go around Skylar Shackelford. Indeed, he will with some help of the 17 share his teammate behind as he catches the wall. As you point out, Hunter, and it's going to slow him down.
And the Lucky Ducks all running up on that outside line, and that's kind of what's separating this from them moving all the way down to the bottom. Being on the outside really isn't helping them that often, but as you see, they're still trying to work things through. The 06 of Spencer Burns just shoving the daylights out of Travis Beckner. Blaze McKinney starting to get him somewhat decent run with the 30 of Jeremy Miller as they're looking to make their presence felt once again for the lead heading into Turn 3.
Riding on board with Jeremy Miller on the outside, Blaze McKinney in behind. Ooh, and did they see drivers pit off? Indeed they did. Here we go, pit stops underway here for the second and what should be the final time. Whoa! Sideways and into the wall.
Yeah, that's not good for the Okrezik machine for Solid Rock Performance. Going to be interesting in seeing how they navigate their way into the pit stalls as we saw some guys slide through, and oh my goodness, well, looks like we have a couple drivers sharing a pit stall. But nonetheless, they're still looking to get 2 tires done, maybe 4 tires for some. And here comes the race off pit road.
Race off pit road for these drivers is going to be Beckner leading off, Yonishiwu, Okrezik, then the 56th Matheson rolling off of pit lane. I don't think I saw anyone make a mistake, so I think everyone should be okay in this group rolling off. Here's Brad Slaughter Jr. down on pit lane. Oh, I think he's gotten a speeding penalty. He's been there for 30 seconds.
Yeah, never a good thing when we're getting to the closing laps of the Area 500, and when there's no caution yet either. And he's the last one here, so he doesn't have to worry about anyone trying to run him over or give him any sort of damage. And you see the smoke Yeah, he's locking up heading into pit road. That's not a good look for the 83 at all. Still sitting in pit road, and now he's firing, going away. And Cameron Hearn looks like he's finally gotten a good pit stop down for once as he's heading off into turn 1. Here comes the rest of the leaders heading into turn 4. They're heading into travel, I should say. Not heading into pit road, Finian.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised because I can bet you the second pack's catching up. As they have one driver split off. That is David Weishart by his lonesome. And I think that's because, actually, this is actually a great, interesting, because Brad Slaughter and Weishart, I know they weren't in the same group. They pitted at different times. But that's actually another hit to that team. And they are really struggling here with most of their drivers near the back part of the order. So it's not looking too good for them. David Weishart, I'd say probably one of the only cars left in the running for the win as he comes down to get service by himself. That's also potentially going to hurt him.
Yeah, we'll have to see what these leaders do and what this could spell for the rest of the field as they're trying to close in on this main pack that's slowly disintegrating because of the upcoming pit stops for some of these drivers as Greg Mitchell leads the way. And speaking of pit stops, here come the 609 cars. And the rest of the leaders up front, they also pitted. So pit road is quite a busy place there.
Very crowded indeed. Here they come on down to get what should be their final stops of the evening. Everyone's splitting off. And it looks like everyone got into... Oh, Shackelford. A little bit overshooting his box. See how that's going to affect him here. If I was him, I'd probably maybe go down to just 2 tires and try to kind of hope for the best. Didi will go down to 2 tires. I think he might collect the rest of his teammates. So he'll recover with that at least, and especially hook up with his teammates. That'll be good for him. But everyone else underway. Don't think I see any mistakes from that group on as they get off pit lane. Now we got really that main group coming. The second group, they're now the main group. Greg Mitchell, Justin Bonnarant, Jake Nichols, your top 3 rolling on through.
Yeah, haven't talked too much about Jake Nichols, just trying to play it safe there with teammate Dwayne Culberson, 3rd and 4th on the track, but haven't talked too much about Justin Bondurant either, and the 2 of Greg Mitchell, as they're now leading the way here. Just a matter of time before those guys come down the pit road, as we're nearing 35 laps to go in the Area 500.
Yeah, we're really coming down to the end of this thing, and I'm probably going to jinx myself here. We have been green the entire time. Take a look at some of the race chats here. 19 leaders, 28 lead changes. You can see right there, 64 green flag laps, 0 cautions, and the fastest lap set by Seth Knoll. Of course, that doesn't matter too much, as you got a lot of guys slowing down now, as a lot of this main group coming on down for their pit stop.
Indeed, Jake Nichols, Dwayne Culberson amongst some of those drivers. Jacob Bell as well. Justin Sogok as well. Yep, 2 pit road, Eric Weiland.
Comes everybody. Jake Nichols and company all making their stop here. That leaves 3 cars still on the racetrack that have not made their final stop. This is going to be 2 tires in fuel or no tires in fuel for most of the field. Down and away is the 73 and company. Looks like we got someone here long. Vincent Cortez in the 32. Still sitting on... Oh, excuse me. He's 4 laps down. He had an incident.
Oh, he had an incident. Interesting. I'm not sure... if that's probably due to his earlier incident, if he decided to retire. But speaking of those 3 cars that you were just talking about, Eric, they're coming on down. There's Greg Mitchell, Bonnarant, and Dom DeLeo coming on down.
I like pitting in the small group, Finian and Hunter. Just less to go wrong, less breakup like you saw in that first group that came down and they needed time to come back together. And even still, there's groups that are still split off that have not quite accordioned back together yet. On it and away, you hear the motor of the 32 finally pulling away, but here comes the 11, 22, 2, all down and away at the end of the road. They are clear and gone.
And you see them there on the right-hand side of the screen coming off of pit lane. Edward Shearer looking to pick up the lead of the race once this whole cycle's out. They're going to go to the end. Robertson, Roderick, and Springer, you see at the top 3, they have yet to pit, and they're just up the road right there, those 3 cars up ahead. So this is what we're looking like at the moment, these top 5 cars in a small little breakaway by themselves. And Travis Beckner leading another charge. They're carrying quite a bit of speed, so they can catch up the second group, the main group now, up ahead of them.
So we're right on board with Travis Beckner here. We thank you for tuning in. For those who tuned in,
the 88 up in the air, the 42 around as well. That is massive damage for the 609 Motorsports crew, guys. Not a good time over here in turn 3. Something big went wrong.
And the first caution of the day will fly. Oh, and the teammates, a huge crash for the 80 and the 42.
Yeah, not a good look there for 609 Motorsports, just trying to get things going in this pack, trying to regroup and refocus towards the end of this one. We see from the replay there's just a checkup here and bumps gone wrong from the teammates of 609 Motorsports. Boy, they're lucky Youssef Ghali wasn't caught up in that. That would have been 3 of their cars with damage, but seems like it's just 2 cars in this crash, and nonetheless, it's our first yellow of the race on lap 68.
Running on board now with Youssef Ghali, the 1 car of the 3 to survive that. So there's the checkup, and a bad bump from the 42 to the 88 will send both of their cars out of the race. And that's the worst thing, right? Is that it was a small wreck, but 2 of the 4 cars from that organization out.
Well, Vincent Cortez in the Twitch chat just said that it blinked red and instantly exploded, so it looks like that might be the end of the night for Vincent Cortez, as we've got close to 30 to go here. Ed Robertson leading the way.
I was going to say, wanted to mention real quick, big break for these 3 drivers. They were just hanging it out there, I think, hoping something would happen, and they're finally back in this race. They are going to have to pit. They're going to be pushed down the order, but they'll be back in, and they won't be a lap down, so it's a crucial moment for this group. And in fact, majority of this field is still in the lead lap. 38 drivers still in the lead lap. One driver, a couple drivers lap down, Brad Slaughter, who will, I believe, get the wave around. There he goes, and the number 83, Cameron Hearn's going to be shaking his fist in anger as he's going to be the only car a lap down, and I think he's going to be hoping that this race starts to get ugly here, and we typically see it a couple times that cautions usually end up breeding cautions.
I did say that the big one would occur after a smaller incident would start things off first, and it looks like that's exactly what's happened. Well, the first half of that, we haven't seen the big one yet, but it is more likely to happen now with this restart. So the field's going to be bunched back up, and wanted to get to the Twitch chat. So race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area Racing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area Racing email that you can use in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise, all at the price of just $5 a month. We thank you for those who have tuned in through Twitch and have been blowing up our chat. We've gotten gifted subs from Alan Elwood, who's going to make his return to the Pro Series this Thursday night. So shout out to you, Alan. Going to be good to watch you back in the Pro Series, where I feel like you're most comfortable in. So it'll be good to see that. And we'll see Jake Nichols also run in the Area Pro Series this Thursday night, full time. So it's going to be a good one, Finian. But we still have unfinished business here in the Area 500.
Yeah, still a bit ways to go here, as we are going to be getting the restart with just under 30 laps to go. And we still, Hunter, have a lot of cars left running on the track. How do we feel about this? Do we think it's going to be, similar to what we saw, everyone, being nice, relatively friendly to each other, clean, giving each other space, or do we see this start to get a little bit more hectic from here on out?
There's no time to be, I'll give and take here. I'll let this guy go. There's no more of that. There's going to be more intensity than we've seen before. Going to see more 3-wide racing. That's the key, because we didn't see too much of it in the big old main pack, but we did see a lot of side-by-side action. So I do expect some 3-wide racing to occur more often, Eric, as we're going to restart with 30 laps to go.
And really, you want to ask, does anyone want to revise their picks for who's going to win this race? I guess, Hunter, we'll start with you.
I'm comfortable with where Mason Kane is. It's marathon, not a sprint, although it's been a long sprint to start things out before the caution on lap 68, but nonetheless, I still think the 31 of Mason Kane has what it takes to get in the victory lane.
And Eric, what about you? Who are you feeling? Do you think your pick's still got a chance of winning this?
I'm still feeling good about my pick of Jake Nichols if I'm picking a solid driver, but I still tell you guys the guy in P2 is going to win this race. I also have radio for you guys. You saw me or heard me playing with it there as right as I unmuted. I actually talked about it when I came in, but the darn mute button still catches us out. I'll catch up with you if we get another yellow on that to listen into 609 Motorsports, because it's pretty long. But the 73 opinion. I'm sticking with Jake Nichols. He's sat it on pole. He's the Season 4 champion. He's still hot. He's bided his time and put himself in the correct positions he's needed to. Caution brings the field back together, like you guys mentioned. It's either him or the driver in P2 at the white flag that wins this race.
Well, we'll see if you're right. My pick, drivers back there, is still looking pretty good. In that 28th and 5th place, or 6th place, really, on that outside lane. Everyone bunched up together, and as you can see here from this shot, we got a lot of cars still left in the running. 42 cars on track still, 38 of them on the lead lap, and with a shot of winning here in the Area 500. 29 laps to go at the line. We are back green here for the Area 500.
Interesting restart there from the 17 of Scherer Jr. Going to get out to a bit of an early lead, and that gap's going to close right back to teammate James Scally. But what it did, it left the bottom open for the 06 of Spencer Burns. They're going to make his way through and control the lead as they work their way down the backstretch.
The intensity has picked up. You can feel it here after this restart. They're going to maintain side by side the whole way through. I expect a lot of 3 wide here as well. It won't take long for them to find their way. And look who's making that move first. It's the one car, Seth Knoll, up the middle. Here he comes.
Trying to make a move work. There you see Spencer Burns going to the top side, trying to defend Jeremy Miller. Cedric Hunter trying to make a move. There's a 17, Everett Scherer jumping out of line to the bottom, trying to give a shove to the 13 to get that inside lane back going forward. But that outside lane definitely looking like the place to be.
They're continuing to shuffle inside the top 5 and even outside of it, but you saw some drivers try to work their way through the middle, and the bottom just not quite grouped up yet. They don't have the momentum yet, as here comes the 84 of Yoneshiwu and Jake Matheson, the 56. And then we got a spin in the back. Ricky Springer around. The caution's going to fly once more at Daytona. Look out.
And a big wreck for Ricky Springer.
Brad Slaughter, too, heading to the inside.
Ricky's car doesn't look too bad, guys. He's just got some left front damage, but that was a big spin in front of the pack.
Well, let's see. It probably looked worse than it actually was from our camera angle. Let's take a look at a SimRat market replay. 51 on the bottom lane. This is coming out of turn 2 on the back straight. Ooh, Golly getting into the 65, turning him around, and Springer getting turned in front of the field. Actually, he almost actually avoided getting hit, except for that one hit from Matthew Bell right at the end.
Matt Bell has had the worst luck with spins in front of him tonight. I don't think Ben Pierce knew they were 3 wide. The way Yusuf was coming up the middle, you're going to see this is going to be a wild ride here on board. You see him get pitted, and he's staring at the field. What a camera view, and then into the frame comes Matthew Bell. He clips the front end of Ricky Springer, and man, more damage to that 9 car.
Well, there's the in-car with Yusuf Ghali in the 609 Motorsports machine, and Ben Pierce actually hits that transition from pavement to grass and it nearly flips his car over. You see in the background there. So wild ride there for the 65 of Ben Pierce.
Maybe we can get a SimRat market replay on board with the 65 right here, because that was interesting how that played out. I don't know if that is server side or client side how that plays out, but a nice little spin. He's going to go to the grass. And, it almost grip rolled on him in that 65 car.
I also want to take a look at what happened with Brad Slaughter here. So he was checking up for this incident. If he got hit from behind, or I think he might have had contact with Jacob Bell. That sent his car spinning to the infield by himself, so he will gather it back up and go on forward. And Cameron Hearn, you can see in the shot, I'm sure he was happy with that caution because he should be the recipient of the lucky dog.
I don't believe he got any X's there, so we'll see. I think the 4 is accelerating here. We're watching him come through the tri-oval now as I got a couple guys here back end of the pack hitting. Yep, Cameron Hearn, the lucky dog. That'll put 40 cars back on the lead lap. Or excuse me, 39 cars back on the lead lap. Matthew Bell, Connor Horn, and Vincent Cortez, as well as Skylar Shackelford, the drivers that have unfortunately fallen behind.
Yeah, unfortunately not what Connor Horn wanted to start his season. Of course, as a playoff contender, almost a Final Four contender, but didn't quite make it to the end.
We could talk about this drama that happened last season. the craziness of the Area Cup Series playoffs that had some suspensions handed out at the end of last season. I see you went straight to the source. I mean, your production work is impeccable.
I mean, it's ironic that there are also a few pit boxes separated from the two.
Do you think there's still bad blood between these two?
I mean, it's been, what, 2 months since they've had quite a bit of time. Actually, there's Ricky Springer going past the 42 there. He's getting back out on a pit lane. He's still on the lead lap, just extensive repairs to that car. But, yeah, I mean, I would think, some of it has passed. I would hope so. We'll see if it rekindles. If something else happens between these two this season, it's absolutely going to start back up again.
I wouldn't say there's bad blood. I would just say there's a little bit of tarnished reputations, if you will. Maybe more on the Ricky Springer side, from the vantage point of Connor Horn, I'd say. But I don't think there's any bad blood. There might be like, oh, I remember what that guy did to me, but I don't think it's going to carry over into Season 5, and it shouldn't if it does, and that's kind of dull from those two. But nonetheless, going to be a good restart here as they're going to restart with 25 to go, and would like to give a huge shout out to rickshotsauce.com. So race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings, in which we saw kick off with a bang. Casey Lakatos, Rookie of the Year contender for the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle, won the premier race for Season 5, even though it was a non-points paying race. There's that 50 car. Started second in the area of 500 because it was a good qualifying effort, but he won the area shootout on fumes, which I don't think that will be replicated tonight unless everyone wrecks and then the leader just has an issue on the last lap. But he's looking to make his way as the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year for the Cup Series. But for the time being, it's Spencer Burns in the 06 that's going to restart up towards the front, the highest rookie of the field so far.
What's the Scoville rating on South Beach Heat?
Very hot. Very, very spicy hot.
I'm going to tell you right now, Hunter, and those that are tuning in, the intensity of this race is going to be higher than that.
Oh, it's definitely going to be here in just a moment's time. We're going to have even less laps on the clock here. We're going to get the restart. Just about 25 laps to go. And again, so many drivers. You can see many cars still left in this race. And even for Ricky Springer, too, he's been trying to get that damage fixed. He's gotten it fixed up pretty good. See, that car is in contention still. He's seen quite a few drivers in the preseason races get those cars fixed up and competing back in the front, although he's got a lot of cars to get through if he still wants a chance to win. Many of the drivers on your screen right now still have a chance to win here as the pace car goes off again. 25 laps to go. Spencer Burns going to be leading him down from the outside lane as we go green back here at Daytona.
Oh, Spencer Burns immediately jumps down to the bottom to cut the nose off of the 30 of Jeremy Miller. Oh, it was planned. Okay, well, there goes the excitement there. Nonetheless, it leaves the outside lane open for Jake Matheson and Blaze McKinney. Going to try and draw some strings up and see if they can get some momentum rolling as the cars head up to speed down the backstretch.
I don't know if that was actually planned, Hunter. That looked planned. And the fact that they both moved up to the top as well on the backstretch tells me that looked like it was planned. Big move here from Matheson. He's going for the lead.
Well, the number 30, most of his teammates are out of this race, so he's got to start making some new friends. Looks like he's found one in the 06, as you mentioned, 56, and the 87. Jumping to the bottom, drag race for the lead up here on top out of turn 4. And how about Jordan Martin? I see him ripping the top lane, trying to go by himself on the outside.
Oh, he got put in the wall.
Well, that was very interesting there from Jordan Martin. I believe that was Skylar Shackelford.
No, Yusuf Ghali.
Yusuf Ghali in the 609 machine. So Jordan Martin on his way to the back after that little incident. And nonetheless, we got some more three-wide action up here towards the front. The top three single file.
Such a Hunter around.
Oh my goodness! The 13 of Hunter goes down low. It looked like he saved it, but now we got some blinking going on. There's the 13 you see trying to rejoin the racetrack safely, but nonetheless, we got three wide all over the board, boys.
Let's see if we can find where Cedric Hunter is. There he is, finally. Scoring not having the best of times at the moment. Take a look at his wild ride off of turn 2. And I think got a bump from the 17. Yeah, there he goes, and a wild ride to the inside.
He got loose. He went up the track, and I think he got the 84 in the middle lane that kind of setting out of shape a little bit. Nonetheless, back to the tail end of the pack, and Spencer Burns, Jeremy Miller like the look of that. Single file for the first 3 rows.
A huge shove from Jeremy Miller to the back of Spencer Burns, trying to keep the 06 car up in the front. We mentioned he's been up there for most of the time, and you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, he's the only non-Chevy in the top 10, trying to defend from all the bow ties coming up in line. You can see on the inside, there is Travis Beckner charging with Connor Kresick behind. Whoa! Another car goes flying off the track.
That's Rafe Slate in the 8. He's saving it through the grass. I think he's trying to hang on. He's going to rejoin at the tail of the pack. And wow, what a save from the
Reminded me of what Dave Blaney did. Of course, he ended up getting back in the field and wrecking. But here's what happened to Rafe Slate. And this is also, again, in front of the 17 car. Slate doing a great job avoiding going through pit lane and getting a penalty for that.
You should see the snaking down the backstretch. I think we have that turn 3 static cam. We should see that the next time by, as they are moving down the back straightaway, Finian.
They're moving. Everyone's trying to aggressively defend their position. Here's Kwame Scott in the 99.
Big contact. Trouble.
There it is. Big one off of turn 4, and the caution flag will fly once again. Many cars involved. I see.
Including the 13 of Cedric Hunter, which I was about to say, that incident that he had a few laps ago could have been a blessing in disguise, but nonetheless, still caught up in the wreck as Yusuf Ghali finds himself in the middle of it with Garrett Grant. I'll have to go back and take a look at it with our Simrat Market replay, but it's just close quarters racing coming off turn 4.
He was the first car to go around, was it?
Garrett Grant in the 5.
The 5 moved up on the 54, Hunter. Washed up off of turn 4 into the middle lane, and Yusuf obviously nowhere to go to try to get out of his way. See the 54 sliding back big time there in the middle, just sucker hold, and yeah, Garrett gets tight up the racetrack, washes up into Yusuf, and it's on from there.
Oh, wow. Everyone did a fantastic job avoiding it. I thought it was going to be a much bigger wreck than it was. I think Dwayne Culberson, I saw him slow way down. I think he got a pretty crazy view of this from his onboard. There's the smoke. Everyone darting using every bit of racetrack. And through the chaos, he will emerge with majority of the field still intact. Saw Brad Slaughter get involved in that as well. He was one of the main cars I saw get turned around. A bunch of cars checking. Ooh, just kind of swerved. Got hit by the 56, who's also trying to avoid Dom DeLeo as well, spinning. But actually, no, I said that was the big one, but it actually wasn't too bad, all things considered.
Still a medium-sized wreck, but we're slowly grappling towards that big one status as we're within the final 20 laps of the Area 500. And 06 of Spencer Burns still leading the way as he's been doing a good job managing the pace and managing who goes where. Great moves, blocking inside and outside as got some more drivers heading down pit road. I believe that's Matthew Bell that got the free pass there.
Needed it, so he's going to be happy to get one of his 2 laps back. I think he's going to be hoping for another massive wreck because he's the next car lap down for that as well. And one of the last 2 guys still running out on the track. 40 cars now running, a bunch of other guys in pit lane. I don't think we're going to see any retirements from that last wreck, but a lot of guys extensively getting their damage repaired. Greg Mitchell, you can see Yusuf Ghali getting repairs. Bondurant, James Shanewell, Cedric Hunter, Garrett Grant, Brad Slaughter, and Jake Matheson all still getting repairs down on pit lane.
Oh, we're just about to head down to Eric Weiland, but he's still gathering some information for us as we look to prepare for the final 20 laps of the Area 500. And I want to remind everyone that tomorrow night we'll be live here on the Area iRacing Twitch channel and on SimTV on YouTube for the premiere of the Area Truck Series. That will also be at 8:45 Eastern. And Thursday night will be the Florida Estate Builders Area Pro Series coming at you from Daytona once more. So we got a week full of racing here at Daytona, Eric, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it and the finish of this race.
You know, last I looked, the entry list for the Florida State Builders Pro Series, Hunter, was at 49 people trying to make that race. So 6 go-homers, yours truly being one of them. I managed to catch up right there just before pit road opened with the 81 of Dwayne Culberson. Listen in. Hey, Dwayne Culberson, you got a copy?
I do.
What was that wreck avoidance like, my friend?
Just a lot of praying.
Did you see a single lane that you decided to go with, or just
Nope.
hope and pray
It was all
and hold
smoke,
it straight?
It was all smoke, and I just stayed in my lane.
Alrighty, so you're gonna restart from. Let's see. You did not come down pit road right there, correct?
I did not.
You're gonna restart 23rd. What's it gonna take to win the race here in the final 20 laps?
Past the 22 cars in front of me.
Alrighty. Appreciate the time, Dwayne. Good luck.
Thank you.
Dwayne was short and sweet and to the point, gentlemen. That 81 car is locked in to try to win this race. Gonna have to restart from 22nd. He gained another spot there. He's got a long way to go, but 20 laps, gonna be 18 laps to do it.
I think there's still plenty of stuff that can happen. We've already seen a lot happen in the last 10 laps. We've gone from having, or 15 laps I should say, we've gone from having 0 cautions to 3, slowing the pace of this race down a bit. But again, if we go green to the end, which part of me kind of had some doubts. I'm not questioning the quality of the drivers, but there's a lot on the line here for these drivers to set a new, set the pace for the rest of the season, get off on a good foot. And again, speaking of the new drivers, we got a lot of new names near the front. Spencer Burns has been in the lead for quite a bit of this race. Kwame Scott in the number 99 in behind as well, also doing pretty well for himself. Blaze McKinney, we see him poke his nose up near the front. Sherrod Jr. in the number 17. We did see the 56 of Matheson, although he's down in 39th. He's actually still catching back up to the field after getting some repairs. Well, we'll see if we do have maybe a new race with this, new face win this race.
Did you see the SOF number for this race, Finian?
It was like 4,000 something last time I checked. It's probably higher than that now.
4370 among the 43 competitors here in the Area Cup Series. Hunter, this is gonna be a wild restart.
Wild indeed. The green flag in the hand of the starter. Pace car pulling down pit road. When they cross the stripe, it'll be 18 laps to go in the Area 500. Only one winner here. Who gets the checkered flag at the end of it?
We'll find out. Green flag back in the air for Spencer Burns. He's going to pull back down in front of the 30. We saw him do that on the last restart. We'll do it again. Leading them off into turn 1. I see Jake Nichols. He dropped down the order for quite a bit. He's now poked his nose back to the front. What will he do? I don't really see a lot of his teammates around him, so he's kind of up there by his lonesome, and he's going to go up to the top, join the number 1 as Seth Knoll as he starts to make a charge to that top lane, and everyone goes to the top, leaving Jordan Martin back on the bottom.
Well, we got a blinker here, and Jacob Bell making it 3 wide, but it's going to be interesting for those in the pack behind him as they're trying to work their way towards the front. Again, closing laps of the Area 500, but with the driver blinking in and out, it's going to be distracting, and you don't want to get caught up in any scenarios there. As Spencer Burns gets third! Spencer Burns spins! Oh, massive bump gone wrong as the 06 spins back towards the racetrack. This might bring out a caution. He's stalled on the entrance of pit road. The yellow is not out, and Spencer Burns went from first to 39th in a matter of seconds. Caution out, 4th time of the day.
Interesting. He actually kept it locked down till the caution came out. Is that allowed?
Yes.
It is allowed. All right.
You could easily stall your car. If you're anything like me, I don't run with assists here on iRacing. If you ever see me spin in the truck series and I lose the clutch, I gotta crank the baby back up, so it may take me a minute to find all my buttons to get the motor back on. So we'll assume that's what happened here for Spencer Burns, but nonetheless, gets a yellow and he'll get caught back up to the tail end of the field. He's not out of it, Hunter, but yeah, bump gone wrong, as you said.
There is a massive mountain for that 06 to climb. He started back in the 20s and worked his way up toward the front. Arguably has the best car of the day so far, but a massive bump gone wrong from the 30 of Jeremy Miller, who now finds himself in the lead temporarily. I'm not sure who's going to get that EOL for the caution. It might be the 06 of Burns because he was stalled on the racing surface, but nonetheless, for the moment, Jeremy Miller in the lead, James Skylerly second, and don't count out Jake Nichols in that 73 running in third.
You saw what happened there at the end of the replay, Finian. Spencer actually cranked it and was going to go, but Connor Horn, who's running around here with a heavily damaged race car, was still coming. So that's why the yellow was triggered, is Connor Horn, a race car on the racetrack, was approaching the incident, and iRacing finally caught up with the incident to throw the yellow flag.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way iRacing's detection works, and I'm sure you can ask Jacob Bell a whole bunch of questions about iRacing's... Ooh, I saw Travis Beckner.
He's back. He almost fell out of the session there. His quality fell drastically.
Yeah, that was for a couple seconds. I saw him flash there. I saw him drop down the order, so I knew what you were talking about. But that's definitely something I want to keep an eye on. I mentioned it before he even went green. That's something to keep an eye on for Beckner, as I picked him to win this race. But yeah, and I've remember dealing with this in the past, dealing with bad internet connection. It's cost me some races when I first started out. And so Beckner, I can imagine the anticipation for him. You're sitting in 5th place. Things might be looking forward to you, but you're keeping your eye, your top right of the screen at your ping, just hoping it holds on till the end of this race.
I'll give a shout out to my favorite international driver in area, Cosmin Yonishibu. He's the only international driver here in the area. He does hail from Romania, so Central Eastern Europe club here on iRacing. He's rocking 166 ping, but that doesn't deter him from super speedway racing. He's one of the best. He was on the front row last season here for the Area 500 and won his duel as well. So sitting in 11th, he's got himself in a good position, Finian, for the charge here in the final 15.
Yeah, everyone want to guess what time it is in Romania right now without looking at Google?
I'm gonna say 5:32 a.m.
I'm gonna go 3:32.
Wow,
you
were right on the dot. It was 5:32 a.m. in the morning.
Oh yeah, you already know. I'm a part of that Romanian culture, baby.
You knew that. You knew that from beforehand. You did your research.
No, I just took a guess because it's somewhere in Europe, and I know that the UK, the Brit, they are 6 hours behind. So I just took a guess, and
that's a really good guess. But man, that is an early time to be up to go sim racing. I'm always amazed every time when we come back to this and we talk, because you almost forget Cosmin's from the only non-American driver in this field, and he's racing a completely different time zone and is so dedicated. He's been here for many seasons now, up in the morning, early racing here. Fantastic stuff for him. So hopefully he can get a good finish here tonight. He's in 11th at the moment, still very much on the cards. It's a matter of making it to the end. I'm sure that's all the question in all these drivers' minds. We've seen the chaos, how chaotic the end of these races can get. The driver leading or driver even in the top 5, not guaranteed to win.
No one is guaranteed to win in this field, not even the leader, not even the 06 of Spencer Burns, who, like I said, it seemed like he had the most dominant car of the field, and bump gone wrong from the 30 of Jeremy Miller, and now he finds himself all the way back in 39th, so it's going to be a massive hill for him to climb as we're nearing 10 to go in the Area 500. Not too many laps left, so you got to make all the right decisions. Don't want to get caught up in the big one, which could still happen. We've had some multi-car accidents, but none to the mass of the big one, which is about 10 or 15 cars or so, but we'll see here on this next restart as Jeremy Miller is going to restart as the leader on the inside.
And it's the James and James show in second and third. James Skyly, James and Jake.
A lot of J's.
I am
Jeremy, James, and Jake in the top 3. A lot of J's
it's all messed up. Don't throw in Justin Anasoyak there in 6th and Jacob Bell in 8th, and half the top 10 is.
There actually are a lot of J's in this league. I'm actually just kind of realizing that now. We got also James Shane Wolf down the order, Jake Matson down the order as well.
Or Bondurant.
Yeah, so one day I'm hoping we get them all in the top 10. Just a whole bunch of J's on the left-hand side of the screen. I'm sure they're also going to hope they can get up there.
Got a couple juniors in here as well. One of them emulates Dale Jr. Off Brad Slaughter Jr.
Running in 29th, trying to see if he can get further up the order. Although, again, it's going to be a mad charge, mad dash for everyone outside of the top 20. Just going to kind of be hoping things play out.
Hunter, this is shaping up like an Indy 500 almost. Or, excuse me, Redacted 500. Where you kind of need to be in the top 15, top 10 here in the last 10 laps if you're even going to give yourself a shot. Because track position is hard to come by.
Oh, it's definitely hard to come by, especially in the closing laps. Because if you're all the way back in 30th, you got to hope that the lane next to you doesn't go and that you just get a massive speed bump. Speed boost. Speed bump will send you flying in the air, which could still happen here. 13 to go when they cross the stripe for the Area 500. Green flag back in the air.
Green flag back in the air for Jeremy Miller, leading on down as they blast their way through the tri-oval. So now Miller out in front. We haven't seen the usual exchange for position, with Burns being out of it. So Miller leading that bottom lane with Jake Nichols, James Skyway up on top. He's got Seth Knoll and AJ Roderick, sorry, not AJ Roderick, with Justin Anasogak to work with in the 67. Oh, right in the back of the field already. Caution will fly once more.
Jake Matheson, Dom DeLeo spinning as well. Justin Bondurant's in it. Take a look at it from the market replay.
He was around the epicenter of that. I think it was one of the first cars I saw to go around. Shane Wolf diving in the middle, got in contact with 11 in the left rear, and around he went with a 22, the 54.
Yusuf Ghali in the middle of it again. It's like the third caution he's been like right in the middle of or near the crash. Brad Slaughter as well got a piece of that too.
Riding on board 56 with Jake Matheson in 56. Only a turn and a half into this. You can see Shane Wolf up ahead, make the move. Looking good, and right at the end, the 54 comes into him. And that was Ghali trying to make his own way on through.
Yeah, rough way to open the season for Miller Racing, and also a rough way to open the season for 609 Motorsports on board with Yusuf Ghali.
Going high. Just tries to dive down low, but unfortunately some cars there. So collected some damage, collected also down to Leo, I think, in that as well. Take one more look at this. Big damage to the front of Dom DeLeo's machine.
Also right back there was the 06 of Spencer Burns, who restarted in the back after being involved in that last caution. Nearly get caught up in this one as well, as Eric returns in the pit lane with an update.
So no longer in the pit lane. We're done coming down pit road unless you pick up damage tonight. But I happened to join Miller Racing for that restart, and I got some classic lines for you guys to listen to. Here's Miller Racing. It's a conglomerate down there. Miller Racing, Solid Rock Performance teaming up together here for the Area 500. Listen in.
Shoot at 3 when you can get there.
Yep.
Eric is here.
Back in bottom.
Hey, Eric.
Eric is here?
I'm checking. Yeah, I'm checking bottom.
Eric is here.
Wrecking in the back. Wrecking in the back.
Oh, Shane Wolf just wrecked everybody.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Jesus.
This is the area we know and love.
So Dawson Miller, shout out to him because he's a team owner and also a spotter for Travis Beckner. He likes to play around when I come in and listen into the Miller Racing channel. And that tail end quote was Connor O'Kresick. He was not happy with the fact that these guys have not had a green flag lap, full green flag lap in what feels like about 20 to 30 minutes now.
Well, I did allude to it. Cautions typically read cautions, and with how many cars we have left in the running, I'm not too terribly surprised to see the turn events. And we're getting more cars back on the track. Connor Horn's back out there. I think he feels like if there's another massive wreck, he might be able to pick up a few spots. I mean, hey, it's might as well if you're sitting around for this, especially to see where the rest of his teammates end up at. So Horn out there and going to come back down to fix some damage as much as he can before we go back green. He collected one lap up, so he's now from 5 laps to 4 laps down. Still a long ways to go in that department. 40 cars still on the lead lap, although many of them with varying amounts of damage, including Dom DeLeo, although we'll say they've done a great job fixing the front of that car, and they've gotten the nose buff back out.
Indeed, and boy, it's a handful for Miller Racing right now. 3 or 4 Cup guys are new to area in itself, and then you got Vincent Cortez with a blown motor, Jake Matheson caught up in a wreck. Travis Beckner and Kwame Scott still doing okay, but a lot on the plate there for Miller Racing. As mentioned, he is the team owner, he is the spotter and crew chief for Travis Beckner. He's also the spiritual coach, the accountant, and the yoga instructor as well. So a lot on the plate there for Dawson Miller and Miller Racing.
Jake Matheson got that car fixed it pretty well. I gotta say, I don't know if there was a patch in the last season, that have these next-gen cars fixing, I feel, a lot better than they used to. I mean, they used to be pretty tanky, but we're seeing them take decent amounts of damage now, but they're able to fix it really easily. I would argue almost a little too easy. You saw it in the duels.
I'll say what else is easy is that we got a quad formation forming inside the first 4 positions of drivers with the letter J in their name, and Jeremy Miller's going to restart as the leader. And then on his outside, it's Jake Nichols, and then right behind Jake Nichols, you actually got the 77 of Jacob Bell, who was so close to winning just a season ago, not only at Daytona, but at Talladega as well. And then to his inside, also so close to becoming the Cup champion and nearly sweeping all 3 championships in the area, James Scioli. So a lot of, as you mentioned, a lot of J's here, but a lot of power as well. Jacob Bell actually continuing to blink in and out. That could be an issue, but we'll see what the admins say about that if that continues, which is Carter Coop, Spencer Brown, and Ryan Swan in the admin tower. They've got a busy plate there as the race continues to progress.
I was going to say there, shout out to them for the admins doing their job. They had a pretty decent break, I think, until around lap 65, and they really had to get on it with the string of cautions we've had. The laps now ticking down. When we go back green, we'll be in single-digit laps to go. 9 laps to go left in the Area 500. We'll see how it ends up. Jeremy Miller leading the field, and more it's looking like the place to be with more yellows coming out. Can he hold it on? Jake Nichols, the pole sitter for the Area 500, starting next to him in second in that 73. Pace car off. Field back in control of the 30. And here we go for the restart. Again, we are green here at Daytona.
The guys under yellow, I got AJ Roderick there. Listen in as he gets going on the restart. All right, caught up on the radio here with AJ Roderick. AJ, what is it going to take to win this race? You're back here restarting 21st. You got 10 laps to go, 9 laps, and you take the green. What do you got to do?
Hopefully everybody hugs the wall and leaves the middle open, and maybe get a few more cars up front that wreck out, and we get a green-white checker. But not sure. The runs are crazy. People are making moves. It's going to be hard to move through the field. So.
We saw right there.
Is back out on the speedway.
Caution back out. I think it's in behind. I thought I saw them avoid it. There's James Shanewolf. His car destroyed. Saw a massive checkup for the drivers up in front. Oh, this is in a completely second pack. So the drivers in the front, there was a checkup on the back straight away. It's like, okay, I think we're out of the thick of it. This is way towards the tail end of the field. There's a lot of the drivers with damaged cars, so how did they end up wrecking?
There was another car already to the inside.
Oh, Mason Kane. Oh. Wow.
Yeah, that's why they were checking up in the middle of the field. Couldn't quite get a good look at it because we were on board with AJ Roderick there, but something happened to Mason Kane.
Oh, this is right in behind Roderick.
Skirted off to the inside.
Oh, something happened in front of him. You see that massive checkup and that scattering.
Wow.
Oh, he almost rolled across the grass through the bus stop area.
Oh, and Shane Wolf coming in, creaming the 31. Take another look at that again. On board, looking at the checkup, there it is, the 17, he gets hit, flying the wild ride through the grass and almost got it collected again, but comes back up onto the track, and a big hit from Shane Wolf. And on board with the 75 to see what he saw from that. See the 31 of Kane off down, you think everything's okay, he comes flying back up, and man, huge hit.
Well, they've got room for one more caution before we get into sudden death overtime. In that case, there's no room for error. If there's a yellow that comes out, race is over. They make it back to the white, then good on you. Got another lap of racing to the checkers.
Yeah, and that's really what we're going to see. I'm curious to see if we're going to maybe see another caution come out sooner rather than later, because everyone's starting to feel it now. If you're a driver like, say, like Dom DeLeo all the way back here, I mean, he had damage from an earlier wreck, so he's just kind of trying to make up some ground. You know, you're running out of laps left to go. What do you even do if you're back here?
You just got to hope you're in the right lane and choose the right holes to go in. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there back in 34th, and that's going to be your day. But you do need a couple more yellows to come out and navigate your way through the wreck if you want to have a shot at even just getting a good finish out of this. If you're anyone like Dom DeLeo, Michael Curran back near the 30s, and actually 29th for Curran. But we'll have to see what the next restart entails, because we've seen a lot of cautions recently David Weishart up here in the 12th position. He's looking to somehow find his way up towards the front. I mean, it's not impossible. We've seen it happen time and time again. When Travis Beckner won on a green-white checker in Season 3, he restarted all the way back in the 9th position and found himself as the winner of the Area 500 by the end of it. Ricky Springer could still have the shot. But there's still a lot of unknowns left within the amount of laps that we have left.
A lot left that can happen. A lot left still on the track. Running out of laps, running out of time. Laps tick on by, and again, it's looking more and more like Jeremy Miller is the place to be. He's been nailing these restarts, and if he's been able to hold off for about a lap, if not less than a lap, and that's been the key thing to keep this 30 up near the front of the field. Still have yet to see anyone contest him, Eric.
Yeah, Jeremy Miller's been looking pretty good, but I'm listening in. I did listen in to Solid Rock Performance discussing... No, excuse me. This is not Solid Rock Performance anymore. This is Powerhouse Racing. Ben Pierce, Dustin Bondurant, Ricky Springer, and company. They also have some spotters in here talking what's going to happen here at the end of the race. Listening to what Ricky Springer has to say about the middle, because you heard AJ talk about it on the last restart.
The end of this is going to be...
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, just go to the high side and just keep it in. Keep your foot in it and just go.
I wouldn't do that.
Well,
more time.
Yeah, I don't know about all the way foot in it, but
We only get one attempt at a green white checkered, by the way.
Well,
in case
watch.
anybody didn't
I mean, watch the checkup. Obviously, that's been happening every restart. But then you just need to, once it settles. I mean, there's no time to be screwing around.
The thing that sucks is that when they check up, they close off that middle lane. They all check up in the middle, in between the middle and high lane, so you really can't go top or bottom on them when they check up.
So some good insight there from the 51. We're going to have to watch to see if there's another checkup on the restart. They said that there has been a checkup on the last 3 restarts, generally around the turn 2, exit of turn 2 area. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, Finney and Hunter. As we get ready to go, I think we're going to have 5 left on the board.
Yep, 5 laps to go here as field works their way through 3 and 4. Do we think we make it to the white? Or do you think we're going to have a caution have to intervene here before we get back going?
I would like to see them go green to the white flag, but ultimately that's not going to be the case. I would like to see at least one green flag lap before they decide to duke it out a little too hard and go spinning, crashing, flipping, wherever they choose. But we're going to have 5 laps to go once we cross that stripe. The pace car is about to make the hard left turn on the pit road. Only 5 laps away from the Area 500 being over. Will Jeremy Miller be the one hoisting the trophy, or will James Skyley have it in his toolbox? Here we go. 5 laps to go in the Area 500.
Green flag back in the air. Another great restart for the 30. We can see you nail these things and to keep that 30 in the lead. Will it be for long, though? You see some checkups in the back. David Weishart, Jordan Martin kind of looking to go on the outside. Weishart left out to dry, though, as he's on that top lane by himself. And might drop back. Might gain some momentum if someone else jumps up there.
Almost 4 wide back here in the middle of the pack, but no, I'm keeping my eye that Solar Flare Racing Group has gotten together behind Jeremy Miller, and Seth Knoll has gone to the lead.
Gone to the lead, some 3-wide action in the middle for just a moment as they're trying to sort themselves out. Solar Flare Racing, as you mentioned, Eric, big run for them on the top side, trying to see if they can keep it going. Beckner with a big charge with Kwame Scott in behind, and Beckner's going to lead at the line.
Yeah, and now Kwame Scott's going to be leading the way on the inside. Beckner leads, 4 laps remaining. Cosmin Yoshiwu trying to push that 99 in front, but Beckner holding back Solar Flare Racing. Seth Knoll, the new acquire from Solar Flare Racing, and Jake Nichols trying to push his way through. 3 wide all throughout the pack as they work their way down the backstretch.
3 wide in the middle of the pack here as they're trying to work their way on through. There is Ricky Springer in the middle of it for the lead, though. Kwame Scott trying to get that bottom lane going again. You can see Cosmin Yonishiwu and Jeremy Miller.
Oh, 63 gets turned. We got trouble.
Big crash. There's the big one out of turn 4. As the caution will fly again. A huge amount of cars junked and a huge cloud of smoke as well.
Well, they got at least 1 lap in before they junked in the middle of the field, whereas that's probably the worst place to be, but nonetheless, when it's do or die, some of these guys try to take more aggressive risks, and we end up seeing what happens when they go wrong.
Start with a big checkup to the back of David Weisar, the 63, looking at Alex Cummings in the middle of all this.
There was a teal car that took a huge hit to the outside wall, just out of frame.
Try to get some multiple angles going of this wreck.
This is going to be the 71 of Douglas Newbigging, I think, that takes the big hit. Oh, it's on the bottom. I think it's Mason Kane.
Oh!
Bam, right there.
Yeah. I think it was Ben Pierce. And 65 indeed
That is another teal car, yes. We got the teal rocking today.
You can see a bunch of these guys come in on the left-hand side of the screen as the wreck comes, and this is 65 of Ben Pierce. Almost looked like he made it through for the second, just got tagged by Yusuf Ghali, and he went for a hard hit to the right-hand wall. Oh, and wow, and there's the
Edward
06.
Jr.
Spencer Burns went backwards all the way onto the front stretch.
Yeah, he was right in the middle of that. I mean, nowhere to go. The 67 and Sogok gets into him, and then he's just getting hit from all over the place.
Oh.
Ed Shearer Jr. into the outside wall with him. Hard hit for both drivers as their chances of winning today are over.
You can look at Tom DeLeo's point of view in the middle. All this literally nowhere for him to go.
It was a massive run that Dom had for me.
Yeah, and there he goes around.
Nowhere to take it.
You can hear all the metal grinding against the pavement as this car is more or less junk at this point. And just after he got it repaired again, too.
I got is 29th on down is on pit road for damage repair.
Yeah, these guys are really...
I'd call that a solid 10 drivers that were involved in this incident.
You can see pit lane, a busy place. A lot of cars just down there trying to get as much damage fixed. Might have a chance of the win at this point, but at the rate we're going at, I think if we can make it to the white flag, you can gain a couple spots just by running near the back part of the field. That's if we make it to the white flag, because we're really seeing the anticipation picking up. And unfortunately for Jeremy Miller, he's been loving these short runs, but unfortunately this last one didn't quite work out. From first back to 8th in only the span of about a lap and a half. Things just did not quite play out for the 30. Played out great for the 28 and the 1. They put themselves first and second. Jake Nichols, our pole sitter, of course, in third. Kwame Scott quietly in fourth, with James Kelly running at your top 5.
I'm going to let you guys pick up on the fact that there is something interesting going on for the lead here.
Yeah, I was just about to get to that, Eric. I would say the script writing for area in the offseason, man, we've made some great work. As Travis Beckner is leading the way, and right behind him is the one of Seth Knoll, not for Miller Racing, as they were teammates a season ago, but actually picked up by Solar Flare Racing. And in third, it's the dominant driver in area today, Jake Nichols, the 3-time Cup Series champion, and right behind him, well, now going to be restarting on the outside, is the 99 of Kwame Scott, the new driver that's been brought in by Miller Racing to fill in that gap that Seth Knoll left after a massive increase from Season 3 to Season 4. If there was a Most Improved Driver award, it would be the one of Seth Knoll, but now they've both gone their separate ways, and now Solar Flare Racing restarting on the inside and Miller Racing on the outside, as Beckner is the control car, looking to become the first driver to win multiple Area 500s.
Interesting. Newbigging picked up the EOL for the incident, but you picked up on it. Beckner's going to pick the outside with his teammate. That puts the teammates on the bottom. I don't know if I would have made that choice if I was Beckner. I would probably want to split the teammates up.
Especially because, you know, we got to mention, too, this is going to be the final restart. This is their green-white checkered, our only attempt of it. So whatever happens here, the next flag will end the race. So we'll see here. And with that, too, you know, he might get a good restart on that top lane, of course, especially working with his teammate, 99 Kwame Scott. So if they can time it right, they might be able to get a run. But, you know, usually that inside lane's a little bit better during those first 2 turns, and we never quite know when that wreck could happen. May never happen. We never quite know, but that's a big risk there, and especially leaving that 1 in the 73 lined up as well. So this is going to be a very interesting restart. If you somehow found this race boring up until now, I assure you it's going to start getting more interesting from here on out. 2 laps to go, just 5 miles to decide who's going to win the Area 500. Will it be Travis Beckner, Seth Knoll, Kwame Scott, Jake Nichols, or someone even outside that top 4? Stay tuned. You'll find out in about the next 2 and change minutes.
Yeah, this will be a very interesting restart. And again, we are in sudden death overtime, which means that if the caution comes out between now and when they get to the white flag, then that's the end of the race. And we saw that happen a season ago and in heartbreaking fashion for those around the winner, Seth Knoll. So here we go. Pace car down pit road. 2 laps to go. Green flag out for the final time at Daytona.
Green flag in there, and you see a big start for Travis Beckner on the outside lane trying to get going. Almost 3 cars clear of that bottom lane. Will they stay up there? That lane's open for Kazuya Nishio if he wants to look on down. Looks like they're trying to control that outside lane. Jeremy Miller, I can see also. There he is, going to go down, and a wrecking behind.
We got a crash!
The 51 round. Caution will fly.
That's going to be it, and it looks like Travis Beckner is going to be the first 2-time Area 500 champion.
Waiting for everything to officially sort ourselves out because we learned that lesson many times, but we are pretty certain Beckner will be walking away with this.
Yeah, unfortunate for the majority of the field that they couldn't quite make it to the white flag and get a good finish in, but nonetheless, Travis Beckner speeding as quick as he can to end this race. White flag waving and the caution flag waving, and it seems like, well, they're actually speeding up the catch to the pace car, but nonetheless, Travis Beckner looks like unofficially will be the winner of the Season 5 premiere for Area I Racing.
And Kwame Scott, his teammate, going to be pushing him to that in second place. A solid job by both of those drivers as they finally catch up with the pace car. I'm sure it was Travis Beckner just wants to make sure there's no factors that can take this away from him. So it looks like he's going to catch the pace car first, and it will stay ahead of the 99 as they all slow on down. So unofficially, it'll be the 28 of Travis Beckner, as long as he makes his way on back. You can see him running side by side with his teammate. I'm sure they're very happy with that. It pretty much worked out exactly how they wanted it to.
You think Travis Beckner was happy, Finian?
Oh, I heard him on. I have my other headset on the side, by the way. I want to mention on the side and just kind of sitting there. But I do have driver chat coming through with it, so I can hear when someone's yelling, and I just heard him, I think, being very happy on the radio.
Oh, you're going to get the pure sound. Listen in. This is Miller Racing.
Lord. Hell yeah, dude.
Let's go!
There you go, Travis.
Wow.
Nice.
Good race, Travis. Good
I'm
win,
6, by the way, so.
Travis Beckner is a multi-time Area 500 winner.
Here he comes. A bunch of space given for everyone else in behind. Travis Beckner crosses the line first. His second Area 500 victory for the number 28 machine. How about that? His teammate Kwame Scott pushing him on. We'll finish in second place with Jeremy Miller. I'm sure he's going to be disappointed. Had a really solid run there at the end and didn't have a chance to really fight there, but a solid third place finish for his efforts. Kazuya Nishio in fourth and Seth Knoll going to round out in fifth.
Yeah, and that Miller is going to be dejected because of how I should say Jeremy Miller, not Dawson Miller from Miller Racing, but Jeremy Miller is going to be dejected that he didn't get the win. But third is still good because, like I said, on that restart, he restarted 8th. That inside line did not go at all, and that propelled him into the podium position that is currently being given to him unofficially. But nonetheless, it's still a job well done from Miller Racing. Travis Beckner, the lone member from Season 4's roster for Miller Racing, got 3 new rookies on the roster. Well, 3 new drivers. They're not really rookies of iRacing in general, but nonetheless, they're rookies in the area. And Travis Beckner is kind of taking them under their wing, and Kwame Scott got a second-place finish because of what the 28 of Travis Beckner did, and history made at Daytona, as mentioned. Travis Beckner, the first time a driver has won the Area 500 more than once. He's now the new 2-time Area 500 champion.
You see everyone giving congratulatory bumps to the 28 machine as he comes out of turn 4 back to the start-finish line. I'm sure he's going to be happy to burn it down for the second time in this race. I can see some of his teammates, I think, waiting for him as well, as there he goes. First winner of the season, the number 28 machine of Travis Beckner.
We'll get a word from our podium drivers, including Area 500 winner Travis Beckner for the time being. He celebrates. We'll look at our finishing results. As mentioned, Travis Beckner, Kwame Scott from Miller Racing secure the first 2 positions. Jeremy Miller, we'll hear from him in a little bit as he gets that 3rd place finish on the podium. Yonishiwu Unola inside the top 5. Meanwhile, Okresic, David Weishart, Jake Nichols, James Skyley, and how about Bryce Senesag with a solid top 10 performance?
Yeah, I was going to say, considering the way his night started, it's kind of, I don't think he really thought he was going to be able to secure a top 10, even for David Weishart Racing in general. So 2 top 10s for that organization. Ryan Hart, Blaze McKinney, Justin Isogak, Culberson, Bell, both Matthew and Jacob Bell 15 and 16, with Jordan Martin, Cameron Hearn, Cedric Hunter, and Garrett Grant rounding out your top 20s. Get down to the order, and then we're going to start getting to the drivers that were involved in that wreck coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, a good bit of drivers here who had their days derailed from being involved in crashes, including Brad Slaughter. Casey Lacoste was in there at the end. Roderick, Rafe Slate Cummings, Bondurant, Ricky Springer, Dom DeLeo, Ed Robertson, and Greg Mitchell round out the top 30.
Moving on back into the final finishing position, Jake Matheson, Golly, Curran, a lot of drivers with race damage and wrecking out at this point. New beginning, Tyler Nichols, Ben Pierce, Connor Horn, Ed Shearer, Spencer Burns, Mason Kane, and then the last 3 finishers of the race, James Shane Wolf, Skylar Shackelford, and Vincent Cortez rounding out our field of 43 drivers. Just want to take a look quickly before we go talk to our final few. Let's talk to our top 3 finishers. Let's take a look and see what happened on that wreck there towards the end of that race.
Yeah, it happened in the middle of 1 and 2, and those drivers weren't even fully up to speed yet, and nonetheless, there was still carnage happening in turn 1, and we'll try to get a replay for that in a little bit. But it's a great way to kick off season 5. I mean, it had great racing, no yellows up until lap 68 when the first of them came out, and like you say, cautions breed cautions, and we saw that all the way up to the very end of the race.
Yeah, right here is the final one. Looking at a turn 1. I think I saw Ricky Springer was one of the first cars to go around. There's Yusuf Ghali getting into the 81, Dwayne Culberson. We talked about him with his wreck avoidance. Unfortunately, couldn't avoid that. And the 24 Michael Curran. Whoa, and some heavy damage to Tyler Nichols as well. And Brad Slaughter and the 11 there.
Yeah, trying to do all you can on that last lap. Just some small contact with the wall there from Culberson. Gets down into Yusuf Ghali in the 54, and nonetheless, night is done. Damage was already done as Newbegin was already on the apron. I didn't notice that. Didn't know if that was going to be an issue or not. Nonetheless, we'll take a look at an onboard here from one of the drivers involved in the wreck.
This is Tyler Nichols in the 41 in behind. Nowhere for him to go. Almost made it through there for the end, but they got a huge hit back into traffic and a bunch of other wrecked race cars spilling out of turn 2. But with that, let's take a look and take a chance to talk with our 3rd place finisher, Jeremy Miller. Jeremy, glad to talk with you in the number 30 machine. Unfortunately for you, not a race win. We saw you there at the end. You had a run going. Was there any game plan, or was it just all full charge ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I saw them wrecking in the mirror, so I was kind of like, all right, try to pass as many cars as I can before the yellow comes out, because they wanted to keep wrecking for the last 30 laps of the race. But just controlling restarts, did the first few perfectly, and of course the last one where we finally go green, I got by 2 teammates, and retrospectively could have picked the outside line, tried to work with Skyoli, but, you know, kind of turned me in the duels. Not that that actually played a role in my decision, but just tough work. Really solid P3 though. I'm just happy for all the guys at 609 and 73 Creative, and thinking about my family out there right now.
Yeah, and just kind of walk us through, the game plan for the race. We saw you, mostly up near the front. Of course, 2 of your teammates near the back trying to work their way up. Was there any point you guys trying to get together, to get near the front, or was it kind of separate game plans for everyone?
Yeah, I mean, we pit all on the same lap at the start to try to get together, and just didn't cycle out that way. Lost 2 people off the pack, and then it was just me and Skylar up front, and then Skylar had an issue and fell back there, and ended up with Connor and Yusuf, and then of course him and Skylar and Connor wrecked, and then Yusuf getting caught up in every wreck all night, so just kind of out there by myself, and pretty good plate racer, so I was able to manage a pretty good finish out there, but it's pretty tough when everybody else has about 10 cars helping them and you got none.
right, well, Jeremy wasn't the win, but it's still a very solid third place finish to kick off your season.
Thanks.
All right, moving on to second place is going to be Kwame Scott in his first appearance in this league. A second place finish, not too shabby, especially considering you pushed your teammate to the win. So walk us through that last restart. What was the plan for you guys? I think you were going to hope to kind of race it out a little bit, but I'm sure that was glad and convenient with that yellow coming out.
Yeah, I mean, it helped, but regardless of whether that yellow came out or not, the plan was to just stay glued to the back of Travis and give him that win. So, that the yellow helped, but the plan was just to try to clear the guys on the inside and just push Travis to victory. And the yellow came out, but that's still exactly what we did. So, I love that kid. Really big night for him. So, super, super big congrats to Travis.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask too. Obviously with a solid start to the season, how are you looking forward for the rest of your season? Obviously, you can have good points to your name, and also with a bunch of tracks coming up on the schedule, where you're kind of feeling you could potentially get your first win of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I have to take a look at the schedule to see where we're going. But I mean, I told Miller Racing that I'm here to win, here to get these guys hopefully a team championship, maybe snag a couple wins. So I mean, I think Vegas is the next track.
Yep, Vegas.
So
is next.
Whether it be Vegas or whatever track is up next, I'm hopefully just give my best effort and see if we could snag a few wins here this season for Miller.
All right, well, Kwame, thanks for talking to us. Solid second place finish for you, and hopefully a win coming soon in your future.
Yeah, we'll see. I think we definitely got the talent over here to do it. So, we'll be fighting the whole season.
All right, Kwame, thanks for talking to us.
Yep, no problem.
All right, and last, but certainly not least, for the second time for his second Area 500 victory, Travis Beckner taking it home. Travis, walk us through. You were far from quiet for most of the night. We've seen your 28 car drive from the back. You started in 35th, worked your way to the front fairly early on, and pretty much stayed there, hung out right there. But the key thing was getting there at the right time. How'd you manage to pull it off?
The amazing push there on that second to last restart by Kwame, that got me out in front, and then the caution came out. I was like, where are you at? And he said, there's 3 of us on the outside. I'm like, all right, I'm choosing the top. I'm going with y'all. And holy cow. 2-time Area 500 winner. Last time I won this, we had Hurricane Ian come through. And this time we didn't have any natural disasters coming through, so holy cow.
And I just want to ask you, of course, your team has had a huge reshuffling in the offseason. The only driver remaining there from last season, and of course you have 3 new drivers, of course, Kwame Scott, Jake Matson, Vincent Cortez. So what's the season looking like for this team starting up? You're already starting off really strong. How's the rest of it looking?
I mean, the power rankings say that we're going to finish 4th in the season. I very much disagree with those power rankings. We probably got the team to beat this season, I would hope so. I brought these guys in over from Nexus Esports, and ever since we've been testing a little bit here and there. We've all been having a good time. Sucks in the duels that I got involved in some wrecks and finished 19th, but came from the 19th row to finish up front for the win. So, whew.
Well, Travis, I'm sure you're probably going to take a break, enjoy this victory. Congratulations. First victory of the season. Hopefully, again, you got some more coming in the future.
Yeah, before I go, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Calusa Pines Landscaping, Celsius Area.shop, Alien Gear Holsters. Huge shout out to my grandparents. I've been having problems with my PC lately, found out it was my graphics card, and they came in clutch in gave me a graphics card. Thank you, Grandma Vicky and Granddad Dave. And of course, I gotta thank my dad, my mom, and everybody over at Miller Racing. Y'all taking the time out of the day to come do this broadcast, and everybody that came out for this race tonight. I'm so happy to see this league growing and growing, and hopefully next year we'll get more people in here.
All right, well, Travis, thanks for talking to us. Best of luck for the rest of your season.
Thank you.
All right, and gentlemen, with that, another Area 500 in the books, and boy, was it an entertaining one.
Entertaining indeed. I mean, like I said, we went almost 70 laps without a yellow, and then it just started happening out of nowhere. And then the finish was, again, a little lackluster because kind of got a bad taste in our mouth from season 4. Thought we'd get something different, but nonetheless, it was still a historical finish, whether it's under greens, under caution, doesn't matter. Travis Beckner, the first driver ever in area history to win the Area 500 twice.